Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts and you'll be glad you did.
Stop spending time with the wrong people. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends. Stop trying to be someone you're not. One of the greatest challenges in life is being yourself in a world that's trying to make you like everyone else. Someone will always be prettier. Someone will always be smarter. Someone will always be younger. But they will never be you. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love the real you. Stop trying to hold on to the past. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Stop being scared to make a mistake. Doing something and getting it wrong is at least 10 times more productive than doing nothing. Every success has a trail of failures behind it, and every failure is leading towards success. You end up regretting the things you did not do far more than the things you did. Stop getting involved in relationships for the wrong reasons. Relationships must be chosen wisely. It is better to be alone than to be in bad company. There's no need to rush. If something is meant to be, it will happen at the right time, with the right person, and for the best reason. Stop rejecting new relationships just because old ones didn't work. In life, you'll realize that there's a purpose for everyone you meet. Some will test you, some will use you, and some will teach you. But most importantly, some will bring out the best in you. Stop trying to compensate against things that are not there. And stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. I just have to repeat this. This warrants a repeat. Stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never, ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends.
DJ on the Master 2020. I think champion who are going to win on all of them before you be with you. Because when it's the same, we must have Corona Ben of money from Madu. Before what they say about Holiday now, what can see that change? I want to know before you be with you.
listeners all over the world. This is Radio Biafra International, brought to you today by the Biafran Restoration Movement. You can get us through different platforms such as internet, Facebook, YouTube, RBI app, TuneIn app. We're on satellite, so you can actually Google Radio Biafra International to get the rest of the information that you need about this broadcast station. We will act as usual to handle the issues of the day that are very pertinent to our cause as a people. And we will be having an array of educated and informed Biafran panelists who will be coming in as time goes on. And remember that we inform, we educate, and we persuade towards righteousness. So we enjoin you to listen in. As is our tradition, we will say a prayer or two before we start for today, Saturday, the 31st of October, 2020. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, the God of Israel, we honor you, we thank you. We worship you for who you are, for you are God alone, seated on the throne. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Father, we bring to you our cause, as always, before you, that you, O Lord, be our deliverer. We can see your hand in the things and events that are going on in our own domain, the place we are born and grew up, in a contraption that is called Nigeria. But God, we know that your love for your people, your love for the righteous, will not let them down. You are a faithful God. Deliver Biafra. Deliver the Christians who suffer in this land because of oppressive and wicked men. Deliver us all from exploitation and oppression. May your name be glorified. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray. Amen. Okay, today, my name is Odi Moalo. We will bring to you issues of the moment, issues regarding the SARS protest that is raging all over Nigeria. And these are important because it highlights the malady of the African state, the malady of the African state, the problem with the African state. As we see today, Nigeria is a microcosm of it. Nigeria is a good example of the problem of Africa. First of all, that Africa is made up of countries created by colonies, enemies from Europe, who came, took the land, took the people, and they've been taking the resources till today, even as we speak. They are actually the problem of Africa. But Africans must begin to think. They must begin to work hard towards setting themselves free. We cannot be free except we expose this. We cannot be free except we deal frontally. We confront our problems and not simply dodge them or pretend that they're not there. And you leave them for your children to continue fighting. That depends on when they are able to know what is even going on. Any African that is a teenager, an adult that can see and understand what is going on in a place like Nigeria or in their own countries must understand that It is their duty to first of all accept the reality. Yes, that's something that you do. You do accept it. So you stop being in denial and begin to do something about it. If you don't, your enemies will not help you. They will not help you. Why is it that today we are still complaining to the people who took us in slavery and formed international organizations like UN and so on? This is the British, this is the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, all these people. Western Europe, basically, the United States, where they migrate, those of them that were oppressed migrated to and from, but still has the same mentality towards Africa of simply extracting resources from Africa. It's a place of resource extraction for the world. That's what Africa has become. For the past 500 years, for crying out loud, 500 years. And still, as we speak, going on. Why do we hope that the people who have perpetrated this wicked tradition, political tradition, that they will help us? I don't understand that. They have shown themselves to be callous. They've shown themselves to be very wicked. They've shown themselves to be, simply driven by sort of ravenous bestiality in the quest for resources. Like a beast that its appetite cannot be satisfied. For 500 years. And when I'm not talking about just the West. I'm talking about Arabs also. Because the twin devils that have reduced Africa to what it is today is the Arabs in the Islamic Empire. And of course, the West. Today, the people will see that don't give their allegiance to them or, sort of subservient to serve their interests. In the West, they call it foreign policy, which simply means where do we get resources from? And, we reduce the people into beggars, people looking for visas. That's why the British is telling African police that you have visa ban, and you are helping to perpetrate this inferiority. Visa ban. Why don't you ban him? Why must it be him banning your visas? Why? Because he has put you in a position to beg for visa. That's what the British is saying when they do these things. They're insulting all of us. That there will be visa ban for those who. Yeah, this is what they crafted. This is a state that they crafted. This is a state they've exploited ever since they came there, since 1914. Even before that, they came and discovered tin in Jos and continued to. Went and brought their own people, and they came there and set up a government by force, created a government by force without the consultation or consent of the indigenous peoples of the land whom the sovereignty belongs to. So this is why this is objectionable. It is illegitimate. The creation of Nigeria is a crime against humanity because it has cost so many lives, and because it is so unstable, they are able to access the resources and continue to exploit the land. Unbridled, unregulated. The same British that you go and complain to. Don't complain to the government, complain to the people if you have any complaint to make. And I've said that. Use your phones, and text to the people. Tell them this is what your representatives have been standing for. This is what your government has been doing to us. The people can resist them better. Those MPs in the office, they will resist them better. And there are MPs who are already risen, who are already sympathetic, even to the Biafran cause. But they can't be majority until you go to the people themselves, where sovereignty belongs of United Kingdom, of Great Britain. You complain to them, complain to human rights organizations, complain to the media stations over there. Bring the reality to them so that they can publish it to the world. that your country is simply being exploited by the British government and is costing lives. There is no reason why the relationship between one country and another can be simply based on exploitation. For 500 years, for goodness sake. 500 years. That's not so, that's unfair. That's unfair. After exploiting Africa, they build their big cities and so on and so forth everywhere. And then what do? They put us up in the media as people who don't know what they're doing. Africa is poor. They say they're giving us aid and all the rest of the nonsense. The richest continent of the world, you're giving aid because you make it unstable. They are the ones that put arm different groups, and they continue to kill themselves. And where there's instability, they will show up like we're here to make peace. But they set up the other ones to supply arms. And when they supply the arms, Africans are killing each other. They make a peace that is unstable. They know the peace won't work. Let's not pretend that they don't know what to do. They are the ones that run the United Nations. Yes, go and check who are the 5 nations with veto power. China is in to also exploit Africa. And Africans cannot be able to understand that the only way you get yourself out of this problem is through self-help. Self-help. Autonomy. You help yourself. Why is it that in a place like Nigeria and many African countries, they have people who have graduated in universities and higher institutions? They don't use them. They would rather go and hire a foreigner to come and do something that you should have had somebody at home to do. And they give all kinds of silly excuses. Oh, well, they're not going to do it well. Well, let him correct, go back to school and do the thing. Why must you depend on somebody who is a foreigner to come and build your society for you? What manner of thought is this? When you get China to come in, they build the rails. And are you telling me, build a steel industry for goodness sake? Get the materials that you need, you don't have, until you get them in, but use your people as workers. You can build rail. Even if you can build the coach, you can build rail. Build the rail yourself and buy the coach if you have to. But don't do this sort of wholesale. You bring foreigners to come in and just do, and then you sign away your economy in very devious pacts. You get into predatory lending, which is what is going on with the West. We saw it with the IMF and World Bank with African countries until it became there was a global movement to stop that. Why is it that in African nations, because of ethnic divisions, the most qualified people cannot come up in power? I remember in Kenya, the Luo said, yeah, Luo will be president of the United States but never in Kenya. Yes, because Obama's father is Luo. This is why we have said that, if we have an arrangement by colonists, can't we rearrange that arrangement by colonists? Because that arrangement was for their own sake. But in Nigeria today, we still have a good example of that. An arrangement that was done by the colonists, and we are stuck in it. Nothing works. The system and structure is so messed up that the whole place is crumbling in the heads of people, of 200 million people. The Fulani, who are immigrants from Arabia into Africa, are seizing land, property, government, everything, and oppressing people. And some of us are taking it lightly. That is I think the crime is this willful ignorance that so many of us hold. You're taking it lightly. Look at what the government is saying after the NSAS movement, the demonstration, the protest. The protest is still going on. All they are trying to make this protest look like now is that, police station was destroyed. Somebody was killed. Like they are the victims. The government is trying to make themselves the victims of, this uprising by crazy people. But this is a government that has been victimizing its people far before even independence started. They had independence in 1960. But from 1960, when it was they had indigenous control of the government, it has been oppressing the people till today. There are a little bit of information I want to share with you regarding the Nigerian police and what they are doing. And this is a news for today, for example. For example, here it says, in Vanguard of Saturday, October 31st, which is today, that politicians bully Inspector General to do what they want, not what is right. This retired Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Ojukwu, who served as a police image maker at the Force Headquarters Abuja under 5 Inspector General of Police. So this is a man with some experience. He served under 5 Inspector General of Police. He himself was supposed to be an Inspector General, but I think he comes from the wrong side of the country. He comes from Biafra. So, it's surprising. When they make you CP, immediately they retire you. This is Fulani engineering all this rubbish. And people are taking it, lying low. Like, we are talking on the table, that stuff, let's just stop. And after talking, they just walk away. And they tell you that they are the victims. Why are people complaining? This complaint is disturbing them. While they continue the advancement of Islamization, and jihadism. So you see, he said, no doubt, seen it all in the corridors of power, obviously. He has no doubt seen it all in the corridors of power in the force. He had worked in operations, administration, and training sections of the force. All these placed him in a vantage position to understand the inner workings of the force. At present, he's a security consultant in psychological services as the provost of the newly created Police Public Relations School in Lafayette. Nevertheless, he undoubtedly is one of the deeply aggrieved retired members of the force as a result of poor remuneration. See, they pay them poorly, and the politicians, cut bags of money away legally as pay home, as with all kinds of excuses, allowances, and so on and so forth. He stated unequivocally that the police should be given the tools to work with. He spoke with the crime editor, Emma Nadozia. And he asked him, what do you think went wrong with SARS? And he answered, I will say the police lost control of one of its arms, SARS. The police arm was operating on their own whims and caprices. Should you do that in a government? You allow any agency to run without supervision. That is to run without responsibility, run amok. But that's not to say the police itself is even doing any better. Because Nigerian police in the international rankings of police work has been always last for the past several years. Last, boards last. In the whole world. In the whole world. That's why we say that place is a jungle. It's not a country. It's a complete jungle. By any measurement, any sensible measurement of what a jungle should be. Yes. It says, I will say that the police lost control of its arms. SARS, the police arm was operating on their own whims and caprices. Supervision was lacking. First, SARS was domiciled in many state commands. After a while, the police command took over. It became domiciled in Abuja, and because of Nigerian factor, which means the evil factor, definitely, people in headquarters always see themselves as superior to those in the state command. You see, that's all that's going on in police. The manifestation of personal power. Nobody, works under the law. It is simply, the law are human beings in Nigeria. So once you put on that uniform for him, it is to exhibit power. That is why they pounce on innocent citizens and treat them in most horrible ways. kill some of them, rape some of them, rob them, extort money from them. That is what the police force in Nigeria has always been. An extortionist institution. So CP state commands couldn't really control them. And before you knew it, they went out of hand. And it is said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you see, we're hearing from the horse's mouth. And who are the people who head these institutions? Islamic Northerners. These are the problem of Africa, Nigeria and Africa. Islamic Northerners. And nobody wants to talk about it. People who cannot, their value system does not respect equity. It does not respect meritocracy. It's always mediocrity everywhere. They do it in education. They do it everywhere. Today, you have some group who are campaigning that is El-Rufai must be the president in 2023. It's all about power, and the power they are looking for is to oppress you, the rest of you there. I'm telling you so you can know where to direct your prayers and where to direct your actions. It is about Islamic conquest. Once you had removed that Islam, because it's a terrible value system, backward, evil value system in Islam, where it's all about there is no tolerance for any other ideology. There is no tolerance for any other belief system. Go and check it. That's why you cannot build churches in Islamic nations. If you try it, well, are you even free where they just visited you? Let's talk about. They're killing you in your land. They're talking about going to their place to go and build a church. Are you crazy? That's why they have destroyed 1,300 churches in northern Nigeria over a space of 20 years. 1,300 churches destroyed. Christians don't destroy mosques. It is them destroying. And then they have the guts to be talking in the way they're doing today. When we say Nigeria is a jungle, we mean it literally. Not, just even sarcastically. No, literally, it's a jungle. I'll continue. It says, giving them high power under the law to deal with violent crises and the culture of violence we have in Nigeria has become internalized in our system as a result of military rule. People no longer want to follow due process in anything. They want to take immediate action. Those that have little issues, such as domestic, civil, and other minor cases, did not want to follow the due process of the law. So they began to invite members of SARS who were available. So the boys directed their acts into areas that police should not be involved and had to apply violence on Nigerians. When things came to a head, when members of the staff who were available in almost all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria began to interfere in the lifestyles of Nigerians. Those who had good phones became their targets. Those who did not dress well became their targets. Those with dreadlocks, tattered jeans, and individual preferences in a free society were abused, attacked by them. You see what I'm talking about? This is simply the type of thing you see Hizbah doing. That's why I said SARS and the police force is used even as Hizbah. It's Islamic value system coming in today because they are the ones who have hijacked the government. Yes, so they use the police to oppress people. They're infidels, so kill them. He's wearing jeans, kill him. He has dreadlocks, kill him. He has phone on his hand, kill him. This is Islamic value system. The same thing they're doing Hizbah, the Islamic police is doing in the north. Where if you're wearing sunshade, they will kill you or throw you into a dungeon somewhere. So this is the type of value, and that's why we're asking, how can a country survive with this type of value system? They began to profile young men that have laptops. Can you imagine? This is from the horse's mouth. They began to profile young men that have laptops. So having a laptop in society became an issue. A good number of people were killed. They unleashed fire. You see, when he says a good number of people were killed, you have to understand what he means here. He's telling you that thousands and thousands of people were killed. I had people say millions, but I felt that millions could be an exaggeration. But we are talking about thousands and thousands of people here. He says a good number of people were killed. That good, you can imagine what it means, a good number. They unleashed violence on people and things got to a head. And the young men who were the bulk of their victims rose and asked for accountability. And when they rise for accountability, people like Mwike, Onyesom Mwike, who now is claiming that he's not Igbo, is calling for the head of young men who are fighting back against people who are killing them. But we are asking people like Mwike, where were you when these police were killing people? What, you're saying, oh, this has I mean, if you cannot defend people when they are attacked, what are they supposed to do? Is it not to defend themselves? Today, the police is saying that all over the country, there are more than 205 police stations destroyed all over the country, across the country. This was a reaction to these killings. And Wike believes that, oh, this is something against police, go and kill. They will send police to go to villages and slaughter innocent people. These are not the people that they run away, the people that done this. They will go and slaughter innocent people. They just find out where are they from. They are from here. Or go there and slaughter them. That's why we say Nigeria is a jungle. And that's why policing in Nigeria has been the worst in the world for quite some time now. And what is Nyesom Wike doing to ensure that these people are not being killed? Why is one life in uniform more important than the one that is not in uniform? Why? In Nigeria, once you put on uniform and give you a gun, you are free to kill people. They put on uniform on you and give you a gun, you are free to molest. You're free to incarcerate illegally. You're free to torture. You're free to extort. And where are people like Wike when this is going on? To seek for justice. It is when there is reaction to that oppression, that violation of life and property and all by government officials whom the Constitution has said to actually protect people from such a crime. The criminals are the police, the criminals are the army, the criminals are the armed forces. They are the ones committing crimes. And from the president down, the politicians are the criminals you have there. Because if they weren't, the society they are supposed to guard and the institutions of government that are under them, why should they be oppressing people? Why should they be extorting people and killing people? They are the ones ordering that. And you've heard it from the mouth of the horse's mouth. From a constitutional police. And you're complaining that the people are trying to save their lives? Somebody is fighting out of self-defense. The worst is that is when you see these politicians come out and say, oh, this is what's going on in this SARS movement now. They're saying, oh, they destroyed this, hoodlums, they make it an issue of hoodlums. It's not the issue of bad governance no more from them. It is the issue of hoodlums. They want to change it. You see media stations trying to divert the issue. Where are the politicians who have perpetrated all this evil that has killed so many people? The Fulani men have been going about slaughtering people in Nigeria from coast to coast, from north to south. And where are they? Why would the Fulani carry AK-47 and they're walking on the street barely? No police arrest, nothing. The ones that people have been slaughtered, and they're still slaughtering as I speak. Nobody talks about arresting them. These politicians don't talk about arresting them. It is the people, when they now begin to defend themselves, you see the politicians come out and say, people shouldn't take laws into their hands. But Fulani is free to take laws into their hands. Buhari is free to take laws into his hands. Every other person in their ranks are free to take laws into their hands and kill innocent people. Why must somebody in uniform have the right to shoot somebody to death, an innocent person? And nothing is done about it. Why? They are talking about the toll gate in Lagos now. They are just, first of all, they denied it never happened. The Lekki toll gate killings, massacre, that's what it is. They are denying that it never happened. Oh, now they found out that it is on video, it was recorded. This is a time where people have phones and cameras. Their satellite is there. They said, okay, they are denying, the governor is saying it's the army is saying it's the politician that asked for the army, and all kinds of lies, because they are trying to cover it. Now, once they set up this panel thing they do in Nigeria, you know that your case is gone. They've been setting panels forever. You see, Nigerian politicians have transformed into perfect crooks. Let me just put it that way. They've transformed into perfect crooks. There is no way you can seek justice and obtain it. The judges, and if you go to court, I'm sorry for you. Nothing works. It's a system that doesn't work because it is the Fulani ideology that has been imposed on that country completely. That is why you don't find justice. Because their point is it a school where somebody who has 139 cannot get into a university, somebody who has 2 gets into the university and he graduates and he becomes the chief judge of the country or whatever. And so they are appointing based on tribal and ethnic and religious sentiments, bigotry. That is how they appoint. Then after appointing, this is the judge you go there to meet in court. You know what your case is going to be like. And sorry for you if you're against somebody who is from an Islamic person or not. That's why there's no justice. And ask me, if there is no justice in a society, how can there be peace? How can there be peace? You just want people to stand and die in the hands of evil people who are killing them? It is just not possible for humans naturally to do that. It is not possible. Give them justice. So that if somebody kills a policeman wrongly, he can be rightly prosecuted. I remember the Odi massacre during under Obasanjo. They said, 2 policemen were killed or someone. Rather than investigate the case and get the people who are involved. No, they sent army there and they went and slaughtered 2,000 people. This is the African way of governance. Animals. You are the ones who go and respect these people. You, my fellow citizens, and you, the Nigerians. You are the ones who go and respect these people. You are the ones that go and respect your so-called political. They deserve no respect. They deserve disdain. Stop respecting them. I've said it several times. Stop respecting these people. They deserve no respect is earned. How can the people who are encouraging this type of society, we're talking about the constitution, that the constitution is a forgery. You see all of them going about their business like nothing. They're not listening. They're not listening to you. They can't hear. That is how deadened they are towards what is right or doing what is right. So anybody who's hoping that you're going to have, they are mastered rigging elections. Every election is rigged. I remember the election that was had in, I think, 1993 election, in which Abiola won. There was an electoral pattern that was brought out by Humphrey Moose. It was called Option A4. An electoral pattern in which when you vote in an election in a polling station, the numbers are counted there. The results are given there to the people who voted. When that is done, it's impossible for you to rig an election. Do you know that Obasanjo came in 1999 and threw that thing, tossed it away? And the rigging now continued. Very evil people. And then you come here and tell us that Obasanjo is a former head of state, this, that, statesman, this, like the records are not there. If you want to be a respectable statesman, act like one. Uphold what shows that there will be transparency and accountability in the electoral process. Not when you make it impossible and ensure that impunity continues. You come and tell us you are a retired statesman, this, that, and you deserve respect. We don't care where you come from, but we will not respect, we will not give you respect you don't deserve. People cannot be respecting you when you don't deserve it. It's as simple as that. Like I said, respect is earned. Now, let me read further a little bit where it says, why was it impossible for the police to control SARS? This is not that it was impossible. A good number of SARS officers who misbehaved and against whom members of the public made reports were apprehended and cautioned by police. Yeah, apprehended and cautioned. If you go and kill people and then you apprehend and caution. Now he starts defending impunity somehow, trying to put a shade onto it. Some had, people were being disappeared in SARS. Disappear. This is kind of thing you hear about Nazi Germany. Somebody was disappeared. What do you mean disappeared? How can somebody just disappear? A human being disappeared. To where? And he's in your hands. He was found to be in your custody. Not to talk about the torture. For what? Because he has a laptop, he has a phone, he has jeans, he's wearing glasses, he has dreadlocks, he's poor. So you take advantage of him. Like animals. These people are animals in uniform. And now people are fighting back the police. You have a governor like Nyesom Wike coming up to act like he's the champion of justice. How can you be champion of justice, Nyesom Wike, when you did not champion the justice for the violated people, the people that police were? Extortion is going on everywhere. People's hard-earned money taken up from them by police on gunpoint. That's what it is. They are using that gun to harass and intimidate. That's all is going on. What have you done about that? Nothing. It is when the people now respond out of self-defense, you begin to champion justice, disgracing yourself. It will go into your records. Simple. This world, anything you do, it will be recorded against you. It's as simple as that. And let me tell you something. As every evil, the time for account comes. Every evil has an expiry date, no matter what it is. Just like Nigeria has expiry date, and he says, "Oh, it's coming." So slow. Go and read about oil and what is going on about oil. Oil companies are laying off people like no man's business because oil is no more. Not just that, there are alternative sources now of energy from oil. COVID-19 made it worse that people are not using vehicles as much anymore. So what is Nigeria going to do? Since you are mad people who are killing and like ravenous animals because of oil, many people suffer. We have said it so many times. The most important valued asset you have in any society or resource that you have is the human being. It's the human being. It's the human being. Use them properly and you get the best of what you need in a society. But you don't. You have societies such as Nigeria's. And he says, but then again, I said the police lost control because there was so many reports about the misconduct of SARS personnel, mostly from social media. Yeah, they complain about social media now, politicians, because social media is exposing them. They say, oh, social media is just... Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, recently was calling for the regulation of social media. What it means is, don't criticize me. They want to criminalize dissent. They want to criminalize dissent, which is how Nigerian leaders do things. Once you oppose them, oh no, you are an enemy. You're supposed to be killed. How dare you? What kind of animals are this? Subhumans who are legislators and executive president and minister. Subhuman president and minister and all that, and you are the people who gotta respect them and wonder why your society turns the way it is. You must show a level of revulsion against evil for it to stop. If you don't, it will continue because you're giving it space. I'll continue. When the police dealt with those erring officers, they do not capitalize on the social media by telling the people how those officers were disciplined. Yes, he disciplined them, but it will continue to happen. And he made the police lose control because in the situation where the police keep silent, the more they are misbehaving. The perpetrator will keep doing it with impunity, thinking that he has immunity. The police did not read the handwriting on the wall. Of course, they didn't. To review the issue of misconduct in SARS. Now, it has turned out really bad. Do you think it is justified to say that Nigeria has lost confidence in the police? This is a question for him. He says, it is to whom much has been given that much is expected. You're very correct. If you're given a gun to carry to protect the people, please do just that. They then give you the gun to intimidate the people and extort the people and torture them and kill them and disappear their bodies and sell their organs. Can you believe they were selling organs of people? What kind of evil is this? Devils in uniform. And the other ones say, oh, we are good. If you're good, what did you do about it? I know that in armed forces, sometimes under other people, you couldn't speak, but you can expose that secretly. Expose it secretly. Find a way to expose it. You have to keep quiet. right when people are dying in that manner. Nigeria should not lose confidence in their police because they have not treated the police the way they should treat them. The Police Act we are using up to this moment is the Police Act of 1948. Can you imagine? They don't improve anything in the law system, improve the system to meet up with the demands of the day. 1948 Police Act, that's what they are still using, given to us by the colonial masters who tell us the police to suit their whims and caprices based on oppression, subjugation of Nigerians. You see? From his own mouth, he's telling you that the colonial masters set up the police to oppress and subjugate. When somebody takes over your land, he hasn't taken over your land because he loves you. For those who are still have the guts to ask, why are we complaining about Fulani taking up people's lands? They have the right to live where they want. You know? And then they come there and slaughter, rape, and destroy farms and do all kinds of things. And it is in their history. That is what they've been doing. You know? They need to be uprooted from that whole space called Nigeria entirely. Uproot them. Let them go back, not with Jalon. They have to, because Guinea is also Africa. They need to go back to Arabia. That's where you send them to. And they say, oh, well, all the Fulanis are not the ones killing. All this sort of stupid excuses. And I call it stupid not because I want to sound bad. No, it is stupid. Because if other Fulanis are not in consent or tacitly in support of it, why are they not speaking up? Are you telling me that somebody could be doing this in their society and nobody is there to say, no, what you're doing is wrong? And they continue? No. If there are people who are challenging them internally, I'm telling you, would have died down a long time ago. But you see, there are politicians that they come out there, you say, Fulani are killing people. 10 northern governors will meet to defend the Fulani terrorists. In International Terrorist Index, they are ranked number 3, just behind ISIS. Boko Haram is number 1. They defend Boko Haram. These are governors of the North, Islamic governors. And this is one country you want to belong to. Now they said they want to bring El Rufai. El Rufai that went and paid money, gave public money, funding the terrorists themselves, the Fulani terrorists. They come and say, oh, well, their cattle were killed. What are you doing in somebody's land? They told you to ranch the cattle, you refuse to ranch the cattle, and you come and destroy their farms. And then say, they killed the cattle, you say, oh, they killed my cattle. Then, just pretext to slaughter, pretext to take the land, pretext to annex the land. This is what they use constantly. When it's time for nobody to be thinking in the manner of we have Nigeria. You don't. Nigeria is actually melting down gradually. It will melt down, no matter what you think. To be the evil in that place is too much. I go for the says that Police Act does not emphasize human rights, and we Nigerians, since independence, have never thought it fit to give our police the enabling environment and law to operate on. Why? Because Fulani does not like human rights. That's why they won't talk about it. They will frustrate everything you're doing to do that. Because their system is a system of oppression. Go to their societies. One man on top of everybody else has to be under them. They don't give opportunities to their children. These are people who support giving birth to children to go and beg, where parents are not held responsible to raise their children. And it is their culture. And you see that they are shameless people. And they come up and they are talking about this nonsense. They are defending it though. Yes, they call them Amajiris. Begging from who? They will beg from those who raised their children properly and went and got work and every other thing. That is why when they took over Nigeria, this is what you get. They will render every place like their own. Poverty everywhere. Poverty. It's Fulani people with their Islamic ideology. Backward Islamic ideology. That Police Act does not emphasize human rights. You see? Islam is against human rights. Sharia law is against human rights. If it wasn't, they won't be taking your phone from you. They won't be taking your laptop from you. They won't be arresting you for wearing jeans. They won't be arresting you for wearing sunglasses or having dreadlocks. But this is what Hizbah is doing, and this is what SARS police is doing as well. It's bringing their own value system, their culture, this sort of errant culture. They want to bring it into your own societies. That is why it's a mess. This is why you're suffering much. And then they use takia. They think they can use takia to cover up everything. As soon as you talk to him, he lies. You have a general, so-called general, quota general who came out on the media recently, saying that the bullets fired on protesters were blank bullets don't kill. Can you imagine that? So those people just died like that. They lie so childishly and like evil people that they are. I call them evil because that's what they are. These are people's children. Something is there. That's why those who are praying, I love those who are praying and walking and protesting. You pray because you're dealing with demons that are in human beings. It is not that we hate Fulani as an individual, it's what is in him. There are demons in these people when they talk. And to stay and be listening to them, or frankly, and act like this is a discussion. This is not a discussion. You don't insult people's intelligence that way. If you don't want that discussion, we sort it down. How can you come and say that people were shot dead? Oh, that it was blank bullets don't kill. A man who calls himself a general in the army. Can you imagine that? They don't pass exams. They don't do anything. The idea of taking exam is for you to think properly. They challenge your mind so that your thinking process can change and improve. That is the idea of taking exams. They don't. This one in Nigeria, Fulani will take his people and promote. The last broadcast I showed you how this has been happening from 1960. From what is his name? The first Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, who rigged every election, rigged the census. People will come and talk. Oh, the great leader. What great leader? Give me a break. Let's look at his records before you answer that great. Look at your records. Because it's your own records. It's not mine. It is not nobody else's. It is Tafawa Balewa, the first prime minister. This is a man that Azikiwe vacated the office for peace sake and gave him the office of prime minister. Then he went rigging the election. He went rigging the census. This is a man that told H.E. Davis, the principal of King's College, Lagos, that every year you must take 15 people, whether they pass the requisite exams or not. Prime Minister giving order. That's how they gave orders for promotion of military officers from the north. They'll fail exams, they promote them. And they'll jump ranks. So where is this type of thing done? Only in Nigeria. Because, Igbo man is this. Igbo man. Get Igbo man. You must get Igbo man. Yeah, Igbo man cannot be the only one who is the major. You have to promote. Can't you take the exams? And by the way, what are those Igbo people doing there? Igbo people, let me tell you what would have happened. That's why wickedness is bad. If you have let those people, they would have made your people something special. They would have, the value system they had, they would have inculcated. Your people would have been far much better than they are today. But look at, you have seized power since 1966, edging the Igbo out. What have you turned Nigeria into today? Look at Nigeria. It's a poverty and terrorism capital of the world. That is your legacy as a people too. That police act does not emphasize human rights. The Fulani does not. I would like to bring in some of, today we have Ejiofor Chinawata and Chuks Ikedigwe. I need Ejiofor Chinawata to please give us some of his ideas on this. We have been able to highlight a little bit of what happened in Nigeria, how terrible it is. Nigerian policing is so terrible that it is the worst in the world. The worst in the world. It has remained so for a very long time. If we can be able to connect, I will be glad. Before we come to him, maybe we'll go to Chuks Ikedigwe. I don't know if Chuks Ikedigwe is at let's see if you can make some contributions for us. Chuks Ikedigwe, if it's there. We have the panelists that are here, and I will be able to try and see if I can be connected to them after a little while. Now,
yes, thank you so much.
Looking to read another information regarding the police, which you need to know, because this is a supporting evidence. We will come back to our panelists, but the supporting evidence on what is going on in Nigeria. For example, in Vanguard of Tuesday, October the 13th, 2020, this month, it says here that over 300 army police checkpoints choking southeast investigation. They harass, they intimidate citizens, motorists lament massive extortion, stakeholders condemn the ugly act. They said the Southeast Zone can rightly be said to be under siege by soldiers and police that have mounted checkpoints almost at every 2 kilometers in all the major roads in the zone. Can you imagine that? Every 2 kilometers, they'll mount a roadblock. What are they doing? They're extorting people. If you refuse, they shoot you. They're using the gun to intimidate the people. Can you see that? And this complaint has gone on forever. The Fulani who are controlling and running the government refuse to obey this because it is also an instrument of jihad. It's an instrument of conquest. It is part of their plan to put fear on the people and conquer them, take over their leaders, and be able to subdue them under their control, their hegemony. That's all that is going on here. So we're not hiding what is going on. It is very in the plain view of everybody. That is why we detest our political leaders, particularly the governors, for what they're doing. Yes, you don't have control of police. Use your state, what do you call it, state security outfit, which was created by a legal act of the state legislature. You know, they call it vigilantes. They refuse to use the vigilantes to maintain security properly. You know, they would rather go look at Obiano in Anambra State. You go and they are doing all this. What these governors do, they go and they are so intimidated, like children. You know, and they are so lustful after political positions. They want to be senator when they finish. They want second term, this, that. Yeah. Let me tell you the truth. I cannot blame just our governors, honestly. I blame our people as well. We are to blame, to be blamed. Yes. Why? Because these are value systems that we set in our society. You go and worship people because they have titles. Oh, he is this. Oh, he is that. You know, he's the governor. You people are, you know, what, you know, then he has money. That's it. If he has money, that's what you worship. That's what you get in a such way you worship money. And I'm telling you, you are all guilty. We are all guilty to this. I'm adding myself. We are all guilty. And if we don't repent from this evil, it's going to finish our society up. They are products of our society, these politicians. That is why, you know, if you respect people based on righteousness, because they are upright and they are righteous, I'm telling you, most people who have, they will try to be upright because they want to get that accolade of being righteous people. It shows the value system in society. Not somebody has money, he's the governor, he's this, he's that. You're promoting it. Anywhere you gather and talk, you know, something is wrong with you. Something is seriously wrong with you. Idolatry, that's what it's called. The Bible calls it idolatry. Those are your gods. That's what you worship. You worship money, you worship titles. Everybody wants a title behind his name. Some people say, oh, if you don't, you have to address me as so and so. Keep quiet. Who are you to tell somebody how to address you? Are you his mouth? Address yourself if you want. Whatever you have is for yourself. It's not for everybody. Give me a break. What allegiance does he have to address you certainly? Will they put in a title? Title is now more important than your name. Let me tell you the truth. I'm saying it now because in future, I want to, you know, reference this record. It is a shame that somebody will add a title, what you do, to your name. It's a big shame. I know they will say, oh, you know, maybe he doesn't have a title. That's why he's saying this and so and so and so. I have my achievements, I'll tell you that. Yes. And so I can put those titles behind mine too if I want to. But what for? There are so many people who have titles, you don't know they have titles. So it's not as if it's just me saying. They are also the ones complaining about this. Stop respecting people because of money and titles. That he's a governor, he's this, he's that. Excellent, we say honorable this, and these are dishonorable men. Stop honoring them. Because if you keep honoring people who are wicked, who cannot stand up and do what is right, that society will be decayed. That is just natural anyway. And that is what is happening to society. So you can see that in the Southeast, as he says here, From Aba to Umuahia to Were, Enugu to Abakaliki, Oka to Onisha to Negu. The story is the same. From Aba to Enugu, a distance of 150 kilometers, there are at least 12 army checkpoints and over 16 police checkpoints. Jesus Christ. Permanently mounted and a couple of stop and search police teams. 12 army checkpoints, 150 kilometers, 12 army checkpoints and 16 police checkpoints. Tell me, if you travel this way, you will not want to travel that way again. So what is happening is that they are actually stalling movements. That's what they is. You see? And our politicians, who are supposed to represent us in the State House of Reps, the governors, the National House of Reps, and the Senate, they cannot speak up against it. They cannot stand and bandy against it because, you see, they owe no allegiance to the people. They owe allegiance to the people who gave them that that office. Because there is no election in Nigeria. It's simply rigged up. They know who is going to be the next so and so. That's all. They'll tell you who can be. That's all. You say you're talking about voting, people are going to be. No, they tell you who will be the next governor, who will be the next speaker, who will be. They will tell you that before. And that's what will happen. Because the people, the votes of the people don't count. Don't count. And while you're promoting titles and so on and so forth, and promoting money, the fact that people have money. Tell me, in this world that we have, 100 years most, and you go, nobody will know you. Even while you're here, all those things they are doing. They're going to stop anybody from going where it is going or doing his own business? No. The titles, people, if they buy titles now, they sell it. They just go and buy. It is, one for 10. What gives you respect? If you want respect, is what you do, not your titles and your money. I mean, genuine respect, not you get psychophants again around you. Yeah, you can always buy psychophants if you want. Yeah. In certain societies in the world, they say they have to hire mourners. When somebody dies, you hire mourners. People, it's unbelievable that such a thing happens. Relic society. The value system has gone down completely. Very soon it turn into Sodom and Gomorrah. Completely morally dilapidated. But, restoring it could be almost impossible. He says the situation has been source of worry to motorists and other road users in the zone, of course, some of whom have described it as an embarrassment and an assault of the people of the zone. Recall that during the last Southeast security meeting with the Inspector General of Police, Adamu Mohammed, this is another Fulani who is there to perpetuate this because they want to arrest us, kill us, dominate us. Stealing our oil is not enough. So Islam must rule. That's all that's going on there. The President General of Harness, the Chief want to raise the alarm over the multiple police checkpoints in the zone with the attendant extortion of motorists, harassment and intimidation of even passers-by. There's nobody looking while it's going. Over the years, this is not something that started today. Government after government, the same thing. In a jungle, and you have people who say, we love Nigeria. This is one Nigeria. You love Nigeria. You love Nigeria. You love Nigeria. Who gave you that name in the first place? Name given to you by foreigners who want to go and defend it. That's why their soldiers is dying for nothing in fighting Boko Haram. Because Boko Haram is in the army already, so they inform them, put them in ambush, and usually the Christians, that's the one that put in ambush and kill them off, and that's it. That's it. Now let's read this. The World Internal Security and Policing was developed independently by the Institute of Economics and Peace, IEP, and commissioned by the International Police Science Association, IPSA. They ranked the countries, and this was in 2016. Yeah. And this is what the report they gave about policing worldwide. It says terrorism remains one of the greatest threats to internal security. Terrorism has increased dramatically over the last 3 years, with more than 62,000 people being killed in terrorist attacks between 2012 and 2014. 62,000 people. Guess who would have killed those 62,000 people? Are they Christians? You know who they are? They're Muslims. Yeah, when they kill, the other ones will say, oh no, every Muslim is not the same. But they don't condemn it. It is in their book, their religious book. 62,000 people over there were killed by one religious group that is fanatical about their distance, that tells them that they have to kill everybody who doesn't believe in what they're saying. Like I said, you can't be reasonable and be a Muslim. You either have to be ignorant, you either have to be under duress, that is under fear, and or you have to be wicked. These are the three things I really look at. That's reason. Because once you become reasonable and conscientious, there is no way it can meet up with what their behavior, their actions. And then a lot of people say, "Oh, well, the Christians did so and so." Yeah, but the Christians are improving. Look at the society. They're the one that brought up human rights, isn't it? Yes. So why do you? Where are you? What have you been doing? This is 1,400 years, and they still want to be emulating Muhammad, who was a bandit, who went and stole from people, massacred people, fought 65 wars, killing people. But it's a religion of peace. A religion within 1,400 years, 240 million people have died in 1,400 years. A religion is a religion of peace. They do this takia that makes you laugh because you get angry so much that you can't be angry anymore. You just laugh about it. This is Islam for you. And they think they are reasonable people. If you are reasonable, why don't you question this thing? Why don't you produce an answer for this? Yet you're a human being. Can't you question religion that tells you not to? Anything that tells you not to question it, because you are the one that are coming to believe in something, but say that I shouldn't question what I believe in? How reasonable? Go roll away from anything that you cannot question. Even when we question, we don't find out everything that we need on certain things. Because we don't know everything about anything on this one. And you can't let people question. That's the first red flag right there, that this is complete nonsense. You move away from it. What is your conscience? The biggest rise in the last year occurred in Nigeria. See that here? It says that this is the World Internal Security and Police Index. In 2016. The biggest rise in the last year occurred in Nigeria, the worst performing country on the WISPI. The worst performing country, still the worst up to today. Every year is the worst. Nigeria performed worse, and this is Fulani value people, Fulani Islamic value system. We are hitting the hammer at the head of the nail, period. That's where it's coming from, that country. There is no Christian that will see this type of thing and will not reverse and say, look, we got to do better than this. Go and see most of the northern Islamic governors are defending Boko Haram, defending Fulani herdsmen who are Muslim. These are recorded, they are within the 4 worst terrorist organizations of the world. In the whole world. And the governors are defending them. And you say you have a democracy. So Nigeria performed worse in the index, followed by Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. Look at 3 African countries. Pakistan is the worst. The Islamic country too. You see, these are African. Okay, Congo, Kenya, Uganda. One tribe against the other. The other one will take over the police and they're oppressing the other one. That's what you get in Africa everywhere. What else? Yeah? Tribal, this thing. And then these ones are Arabs who came into Nigeria and they decided to oppress everybody who are called Fulani. They even took over Hausa people, chopped off the head of the leaders, imposing emirates left and right. And they said it. They told you. They said it. I'm not saying it myself. It is they themselves. Remember what Ahmad Bello said about their father, Osman Donfodio, taking over the whole place for themselves. So they said it themselves. So it's not something that's hidden. Don't say, oh, well, this is Radio Biafra International. Because that's where some of us will want to go easily, People who want to be deviant, to detract from the issue. Down from the horse's mouth, he said it, just like we're reading about this former commissioner of police, giving a report about what's going on. This is another report from the World Internal Security and Police Index. He said that, however, countries with protected civil conflicts are not eligible for the index. 5 best performing countries: Singapore, Finland, Denmark, Austria, and Germany. 5 worst performing countries: Pakistan, Uganda, Kenya, Congo, Nigeria. Nigeria is the last and worst performing, has the last and worst performance in policing in the world. Even in the United States Department of State, 2019, last year, country report on human rights practices in Nigeria. This is the report that he gave. The Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor gave. I'm reading these sources because these are sources that we want to believe. You won't say, well, this is Radio Biafra talking. You know? No, it's not just Biafran thing. This is something happening to you and I. It says here, the insurgents in the northeast by the militant terrorist groups, Boko Haram and Islamic State in West Africa, continue. ISIS West Africa is in northern Nigeria and they're moving down south. The group conducted numerous attacks on government and civilian targets, resulting in thousands of deaths and injuries, widespread destruction, internal displacement of more than 2 million persons, and external displacement of an estimated 243,875 Nigerian refugees to neighboring countries as of September 30. This is 2019, just last year. This is very current. And this is from the United States Department of State. It's telling you. Yeah. Yeah. This group called Boko Haram, Islamic jihadist group. And you don't see the northern governors have a problem with that, do you? And they just they complain? No. They tacitly support them. They don't meet to condemn them. They meet to condemn anybody who now condemns them. What is this government doing? They are releasing them. When they arrest them, they release them, and then they induct them back into the police. So they are the part of the people who are in the SARS and the police themselves who kill anyhow. They are, so-called. They call them repentant Boko Haram terrorists. But then Biafrans will march peacefully, raise a flag, will shoot them there, they'll mow them there. But they set terrorists free. How can this society? How can we call that a just society? Nobody, you don't want to speak out. You want to be safe in your cocoon where you are. You don't want to do anything. You can't even text, get up your phone and text somebody, text a media station, text a human rights organization. You can't do that. You can't do that. Then you hope for a better future for you. You only want one day you wake up and you hear that they've taken over your land. They've massacred so many people. The rest are running away. Already people are running away from their lands and going to other countries of the world every year. And you know that from your village and from your towns. Because of the oppression of the jihadists, Fulani jihadists. We will be calling them. We're not going to see because they are the problem. So we'll be calling them. We don't call Hausa because we know Hausa is the victims. We call them Fulani. They are the problem. It's evident. So this group conducts these attacks on civilian targets, resulting in thousands of deaths and injuries. You don't hear that about Christians. You can't hear that one Christian anywhere killed more than Muslim. One! You don't hear. But these are Muslims. They're free to reign with impunity. And if a Christian gets up tomorrow and fights a Boko Haram, kills him, there you see the governor jump out. They begin to talk. Yeah. They will stand, you can't have to take laws into your hands. So the laws in the hand of Boko Haram, the laws in the hand of Fulani herdsmen, the laws in the hands of these criminal politicians who are in the National Assembly and the governors and state legislators. The laws are in their hands. Very few of them are decent people. Very few. The rest are crooks. Completely. They deserve disdain. They are disdained already anyway. And all their actions will be recorded in history. Children might read it in books. How degenerate these people are. They will read about it. Well, the records are there, so you can't deny it. Well, I continue with the State Department report. U.S. State Department said significant human rights issues included unlawful and arbitrary killings, including extrajudicial killings, forced disappearances, torture, and arbitrary detention. All the above by both government and non-state actors. Harsh and life-threatening prison conditions and unlawful infringement on citizens' privacy rights. Criminal libel, violence against and unjustified arrests of journalists, substantial interference with the rights of peaceful assembly and freedom of association. You see that? And it says here, both the government and non-state actors. So the terrorists and the government are the ones who are perpetrating this. Well, what makes the government good and then the people are bad for reacting to the evil the government is perpetrating against them? So the government, the crime here is committed by the Buhari government. So they are criminals, all of them that are there, who are making sure that this is perpetrated. The criminal government, not the people. Now they want to divert the attention and talk about looting. And looting is a problem of Nigeria. This is a reaction to what is going on. And some of those looters might have been, the politicians themselves might have sponsored them to make the protest look bad. There's nothing they don't do in Nigeria, these politicians don't. They are wicked and they are callous, they are unrepentant, they're incorrigible. A lot of them are. The government took some steps to investigate alleged abuses, but there were few public reports or prosecutions of officials who committed violence. They don't prosecute them. That's why it will continue, it will grow. Whether in the security forces or elsewhere in the government, impunity remained widespread at all levels of government. No charges were filed in form of the significant allegations of human rights violations by security forces. They don't file the charges, you see that? And cases of police or military extortion or other abuse of power. So the government is behind the oppression of the people. I'm reading from United States Department of State report on human rights and democracy on Nigeria in 2019. So let me invite panelists, Chinawata, if you're there, to speak on this issue of police brutality that is endless. Extortion, torture, disappearances. It's unbelievable. Disappearances at this time. Just like Nazi Germany. I can't believe that. Mazi Jofo, it's good to have you today around.
Yeah, it's good to have you, my brother. All the more, hello. Thank you so much, my brother. There is something there's something I would say. Just a little
you may have
something. Can you hear me?
If I can get Jofo Chinawata to unmute, we can hear from him. All right, let's get to.
Am I coming in? Hello, sir.
Some police brutality. I've been doing it for 39 years. I will correct that.
This one allows every day to count. And some
Yes, my brother, all the more. Hello, thank you so much. Thank you for the good work you are doing for your people. Am I coming out? Thank you so much. The thing is this: when they kill Biafrans, Nigerians were completely removed from any sentiment or showing any sympathy of our people being slaughtered for just having a flag. So now the NSAS have seen and experienced what Biafrans have been experiencing and what Biafrans have been crying all about. Now, we say that truth matters. Truth matters only when it is heard. You can say all the truth, you can speak all your truth, you can say everything factual, but if it is not heard, then it means nothing. It doesn't matter. So truth matters when it is heard, and when the person that heard it do something with what they have heard. So Biafrans has been out there jumping and shouting on top of their voices and letting Nigerians to understand what has befallen upon them. Nobody was paying attention. Nobody wanted to listen. You see, when a man wakes up in the morning and tells a journalist, a European journalist, where his heart and mind, where the plan lies for Nigeria, and Nigeria consistently ignore it as if they did not hear what Ahmad Bello spoke about. Ahmad Bello has actually told Nigerians what is going to happen and what the plan was all about since the time immemorial. A lot of people are making mistakes expecting Nigeria to function as a good government, or maybe function as a nation, or function as a country, even as a banana republic. Yet, Nigerians cannot even function as a banana republic. They can't, because it was not in the plan. The plan was to control the entire people. The plan was to make sure that Nigeria becomes an estate of their so-called grandfather, Osman Dan Fodio. Osman Dan Fodio is from Sudan. So when somebody come to your house and said, yes, welcome, I am happy to be in your house, in this house. This house belongs to our forefathers. That is a sign. That is a word. That is a plan. That is an insight into what that man's mental state is. That he is going to take your house from you. But all these words were spoken to Africans and to Nigerians, and they ignored it as if they never heard it. So then, where lies the word? They say the truth matters. Where does the truth matter? It is what we are saying now on Radio Biafra. It's like we are knocking on the door and the house is full of people. But then again, it is empty. Nobody is responding. Nobody is hearing us. Nobody is like we are knocking at an empty house. What has come to Nigeria will consume the whole Nigerians. And by the time they will realize it, it might be too late. As it is now, Ahmad Bello spoke like that, and he said that Nigeria will be an estate of their grandfather. What Ahmad Bello did not know, because God in his infinite wisdom always know how to take care of his people. Now, I'll tell you how God took care of his people. When Ahmad Bello was speaking like that, Ahmad Bello did not know there will be influx of God's own children in Western world. That Biafrans and all the friends of Biafrans are going to descend in foreign countries, in diaspora, all over the world, and they are going to acquire knowledge and information that will lead their people to freedom. Ahmad Bello was not counting on Radio Biafra, Radio Biafra London or Radio Biafra International broadcasting and letting Biafrans know what is at stake. Ahmad Bello was not counting on the invention of internet or maybe WhatsApp or Facebook. Ahmad Bello did not know what God has planned. So Biafrans should be able to at least thank God for what he's doing for them and realize that God has the ultimate answer to their freedom and ultimate solution to their problem. So Hausa Fulani and Janjaweed can plan all they want. In the end, the will of God will happen. And that is why I thank Radio Biafra International and I thank BRM for acknowledging God in everything they do and praying to God from the beginning and then to the end. And because we know that as children of God, our God in heaven will see us through and will make sure that in the end, Biafra will be restored. Thank you again for having me today, Odimo. May God continue to bless you. And to the co-panelists, Ochinawata is standing by. Thank you again, Odimoro.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mazi Ochinawata. It's always good to hear your voice. I'll go to Chuksi Kedigwe to give us a little bit of his commentary on what we are talking about regarding Nigeria and police, because it's good that these things are clarified to our listeners so they understand this is the problem of Nigeria. There's no point kind of distracting and just saying, no, it's just, NSAS, as if that is the only problem in Nigeria. No, the main problem in Nigeria is this Islamization plot, which is what has brought mediocrity to the system and has, every other thing, they just threw away equity, threw away democracy, threw away equality, threw away human rights, and all these value systems that need to produce a viable society, a society that can grow and grow in a very civilized way. We see it most represented in the North. When we say Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, the North is there's violence everywhere, poverty and terrorism capital, and the northern Nigeria represents. That's where the Muslims are. The Muslims are the ones who are perpetrating these destructions, and their politicians are defending them because they all believe in the same thing, conquest. That's all they think of, to conquer a people, They don't think of development. Just conquer people. That's all they think about, and take over the place. And then they reduce the place, to their own value system, where people can get into office even though they're not qualified, where people can, everything is just Islamic. Their mind is something else. And this is what we're saying, that this religious ideology have messed their mind so much up. That is why Nigeria cannot work, because everybody cannot go and submit themselves to them. Unless Nigerians want to do so, they can do so. The Middle Belt, they're killing people in Kaduna, killing people in Borno State. Christians in Borno State are 40%. They've driven them out, complaining that, their church is being built. People are building churches in their communities, and that's a problem for them. That is a problem for them. But it's okay for them to build mosques in other places. You see the problem with Islam? Yes, that is the problem. And like I said, the people they are so unreasonable. You are telling them, why is it that you can build mosque, but I cannot build church? He has a problem with your building church. He doesn't have a problem building mosque in the Western world. The other report we gave you in a couple of weeks back, we mentioned the number of mosques that are in the United States, nearly 1,200. The ones in France, the one in Britain, even in Israel, mosques. But then in Saudi Arabia, none, zinc. You are not even allowed to see the Bible. They might cut off your head. What type of religion is that? That is what I'm asking the Muslims themselves. What type of religion do you say you love? Because we are all human beings. We're all related, by the way. So it's not as if, we're making you devils. No. But you are not thinking. You are not thinking. If you think that what you have is good enough, present it and make an argument for it. That's it. Make an argument for it. People will see it themselves and believe. Because Christians do not go about pointing, killing people, destroying mosques, killing. Can you imagine that? You can't imagine it because it's not happening to you. But this is what the Muslims do. And then the ones who say they are not for the violence, who deny those who are for the violence, why the violence continues to be perpetrated? They say, well, they're innocent. They don't condemn those. If they do, they'll have a problem. Because this is enshrined in the texts of their religious belief, the doctrines, and the tenets. Central doctrines and tenets of the Torah. In the Sharia law, you see it there, even being practiced. And this is what the problem Nigeria has. Chuksi Kedigwe, if you can speak on this, we'll be glad to hear from you. Chuksi Kedigwe. And I want to apologize to our listeners for that technical problem. There was a slight technical problem that we had. I apologize for that. When I called Ejiofor Chinawata, I apologize to Ejiofor Chinawata for that too as well. And he has been corrected. I'm just trying to get on Chuksi Kedigwe to comment. And if not, I will go to Oziomeme and we will come back and see if we can connect to Chuksi Kedigwe, our sister, Oziomeme. Okay. All right. While we are I wait for to be able to be connected to them, I want to mention again that there are distractions in this NSAS movement to try to make the government the victim. The government of Nigeria, the victim. The victim is the people, it's not the government. What you're seeing is a reaction to the abuse of the government. So the narrative doesn't need to change, where the government is telling you, oh, there are 205 police stations were destroyed. Oh, they looted the palliatives. Palliatives that were supposed to share to people, they went hoarding it. They went hoarding. Most people died out of hunger because this the COVID-19 lockdown made so many people not to work. You know, of course, there was food shortages. People died. A lot of people died. And then they had the police facilities stored somewhere. This is how corrupt Nigeria is. And once you say, what is the problem? They say, you know what they'll tell the police? They'll come out and tell you, oh, yes, we have seen it. We are concerned about it. And we will set up a panel to investigate it. Let nobody take laws into it. They repeat the same thing again. You know, they have the same language of pretense and distraction, disinformation and misinformation. That is their tactics. That is what Nigeria has learned over the years. That's why you don't have anything working there. That is why, even though electoral bill was sent to the president to sign electoral bill to make electoral process to be more transparent and more accountable, he could not sign it. 4 times this man turned it down. That's why I say he's not even Buhari there. It's an impostor. Look at this picture. This place is a jungle. It's what's that? Nigeria, the history of heists in political positions will be written about this world. Nigeria will be number 1, the worst ever the world has ever seen. Where somebody can impose himself as a president of the country and everybody's just looking. And you wonder, why it is this? What is this? And it's the British that's supporting this because they want to maintain their colonial asset, economic asset. And I'm asking them, can't you trade with a country normally without simply destroying the lives of the people there? Then they come up to tell you, well, we're going to give them visa ban. What an insult. After our people have gone on slavery to build London and build Leeds and build everywhere for you, you want to give me, don't insult me like that. Let me tell you. You want to give me visa ban. We all go to look for visa in their embassy. That's what they want. And then we contribute money for them. You see that? Because, you know, they feel themselves more equal than us. They are more of a human beings than us. Yet these are people who are perpetrated untold evil against African people. They're not ashamed about it. They come up and act like they are proud. There is what is called to glory in your shame. That is what you see most of them do. They glory in their shame. You steal people from another country. I mean, the records are there of slavery. 14 million Africans. This is the greatest kidnapping the world has ever seen. And let's talk about those who were killed in the process, excited to take them, to walk long treks from inland, you know, to the coast. Those of them who died in the ship, those of them who died in revolt. And then since that slavery happened, it's now 500 years. Them and their descendants, all their labor and all the efforts went into building your societies in the West. Still, you are not, 500 is not enough for you, but you're civilized. You want us to see you as civilized. There is no, you are, I don't know, it's not on the dictionary, the word to use for people who behave like this. Our people, stop respecting them. They are not civilized. Tell them that civilization equals your being concerned about your fellow human being. Your fellow human being, if you are not equally concerned about him, then, you know, what makes you civilized? Because you're on suit and tie in an office? Oh no, give me a break. And that is why I say, when you see them in the government offices, they talk about foreign policy. Go and check that foreign policy. It's simply a way of extorting resources from other countries, destabilizing their governments, and ensuring that they have access to the resources. About the beast. That's what we are fighting. So it is very clear. We have suffered it and we have seen it. And we're saying enough is enough. And you know why we say pick up your phone and text. Text an international media station in London, in their own home countries, in America, in all these countries. Text your friends who come from there, because they are the ones who can force these MPs to make a change in that foreign policy. They are the ones who can force them to do it. Their constituents can force them to do it. But they are conscientious people in those nations. They are not just all wicked and bad and evil. No, they are conscientious people. If you explain to them what exactly is going on, how their government is making the life of Africans a living hell for past 500 years, and they haven't let up yet. Why must you create countries that you don't want the people to, every election they will rig it, they'll come out and tell you that the election was free and fair, that it was just a little skirmish here and there. Give me a break. Give me a break. Because they want that instability in order to continue to extort. And look at Nigeria, they use the Fulani as agents, as proxy, to extort resources from Nigeria. That is just what is going on. And Fulani is extorting. Is the oil. They carry the oil. Oil is just, they've ravenously ripped the whole place apart in a greedy manner, simply because of the wealth in the south. The south, those who have the oil, the southeast, they cannot benefit. They are not benefiting from it. Can you imagine that? All over the years, all the years, there are 83% of the oil blocks owned by Northerners. Then the rest from other parts of the country, including the southwest. Can you imagine that? The people who have the oil, what do you call that? What do you call that? This is worse than hegemony. So by this Chuksi Hediwe, I need you to comment. Oziomeme. I have another commentator who is Lee. Please, if you can speak up. I need somebody from the panel to comment on these issues, particularly on police brutality in Nigeria. And basically the problems of bad governance. It has a root. Bad governance doesn't just start on its own. It has root causes. And that's why we're defining and making very plain the root causes of this bad governance in the place. Nigeria is a false creation in the first place. So it is illegitimate. Even by its own fraudulent constitution of 1914, documents of creation in 1914, it has expired because they said it will just exist for about 400 years, and that's it. This expired on December 31st, 2013. That's when it expired. So why shouldn't we just discard it and then call a sovereign national conference, and people will decide whether they want to be together or not? No, they want the oil, and thank God the oil is going down, finally. Let me see what will happen again. You eat the people up if the oil is gone. Are you going to eat those indigenous people there? That's why they act like the beast. Everything is about oil. And that seems to be the only consideration in their life. Let me share this too with our listeners about this oil thing. He says here, this is Vanguard News of Friday, October 30th, that's yesterday. He says, dwindling oil demand, 40,000 ExxonMobil staff to lose jobs. He says, as the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic hits global crude oil demand, a fresh indication has emerged that no fewer than 14,000 staff of ExxonMobil will lose their jobs. 14,000 of them will lose their jobs. This is coming as the corporation disclosed plans to cut its global workforce by 15% in the next 2 years. By 15%, that's a lot. According to ExxonMobil spokesman Casey Norton, the total reduction means the company will reduce its workforce by about 14,000 people, split between employees and contractors from year-end 2019 levels. The cuts will come through attrition, targeted redundancy programs in 2021, and scaled back hiring in some countries. ExxonMobil, along with other oil producers, have been cutting costs due to a collapse in oil demand and prices, as well as untimely stop on new projects. Nigeria is one of ExxonMobil's biggest operational bases in oil and gas exploration and production globally. This development will be another setback for the industry after Shell announced 9,000 job cuts globally, which includes Nigeria, and the announcement by Chevron that it plans to reduce its staff strength in Nigeria by 25%. See that? Shell announced 9,000 job cuts globally, and Chevron will cut down its strength by 25%. BP PLC plans to slash 10,000 jobs, and Chevron Corporation has announced about 6,000 reductions. However, while making the announcement in a statement, the company disclosed that the highest job cut will come from its headquarters in Houston. A breakdown of the development includes 1,900 US jobs, majorly at Houston, the headquarters for its US oil and gas businesses. There will be layoffs previously announced in Europe and Australia, and reductions in the number of contractors, some of which have already taken place. The staff reduction is part of the latest effort by the Chief Executive Officer, Darren Woods, to curtail spending and halt the worst string of quarterly losses since Exxon assumed its modern form with the 1999 takeover of Mobil Corp. According to the statement, these actions will improve the company's long-term cost competitiveness and ensure the company manages through the current unprecedented market conditions. So that's it. That's a sign there that there is a problem about still maintenance of oil as a major energy source to the world globally. It is going down, and since Nigeria cannot diversify its economic base, right from time, it's been very difficult for the government to do that because they are not concerned about diversification of economic base. They are concerned about jihad. That's what the rulers are concerned about. So when they're talking about development, why don't you build roads? Why don't you? You're telling somebody who's concerned about jihad and conquest, why don't you build roads? Why don't you build schools? The schools that were built for them, what happened? Jonathan built 250 schools for their Amachiri. They refused to use them. Yet at that time, they were complaining that it is because there are no schools for these kids. People who have children and they refuse to raise them properly. Very irresponsible culture, a culture that is despicable. And they're having children as also a weapon of conquest. Because when they grow up, they just give them guns and so on. And so they seize power, control the army, use guns that they bought with oil money from the southeast, and then arm these people to go and kill the people from where they got the money from the oil. These people are nothing short. Evil is just it's not. There's something that should be worse than evil. I'm telling you, because that is what you're seeing from Islamic North in Nigeria. Islamic oligarchs who are there. They arm these people because they keep them ignorant. If you don't keep them ignorant, you can't use them that way. So that's why they keep them ignorant. That's why they don't give this. That's why after Jonathan built 250 schools for the Amachiri, they refuse to send them there. They are not never. You don't see anybody talking about those schools any longer. They won't talk about it. But the governors are fast to come out to defend Boko Haram or to defend Fulani herdsmen who are massacring people everywhere. So those governors you are looking at are simply terrorists. That's what they are. When you defend terrorists, you become one. And there is evidence. It's all in the publications there because they met defending them. They met defending them. It's in publications, it's in newspapers. So what are you talking about? Why should you be regarding those governors as some of, people who are there to bring development and whatever? That's your problem anyway. That's the problem of the people. That's why you inform people to understand that you're dealing with something that is not exactly the way you see it at all. It's completely different. So we see that oil is fast disappearing as a major source of revenue for Nigeria. We're not to mention that Nigeria has a debt, that the 60% of the revenue is used to service external debt. Debt of about $30 billion. Remember, Okonjo-Iweala, when he was minister, he paid $30 billion. This is $30 billion squandered by the oligarchs and elites, the military and political elites, and even traditional rulers of the north mainly, and some of them from the west and other parts. They are the people that squandered it, and the political leaders in different parts of the country as well. They squandered the $30 billion that is from the southeast. And after that, That's it. In a brought to Konjiwala, an Igbo woman to come and work hard and use her connections and everything and pay the money. She paid it. That's what we're good at. They just come and work with you. They exploit your intellect. That's all they do. And then hate you for that and kill you for that. And after that, what do we get? Nothing. Hatred and killing. Let's continue. You see that? Yeah. So $30 billion external debt is owing. I think internally they own about 70 billion naira internal debt. So how can you, and then $30 billion external debt? You know, this type of government, it's unbelievable. And then the oil resources is going down. And these are people that were, you know, warned a long time ago. The government has always been warned to diversify Nigeria's economy. But like I said, how do you expect somebody who is concerned about Islamizing you to go and start diversifying the economy? That it doesn't bother them at all. Diversify what? When the poverty is actually helping the Islamization process. The terrorism is helping the Islamization process. That's the main Islamization process, is the terrorism, then the poverty. So it's an instrument. They are all used as instruments of Islamization. And now people and some others are not aware of that. Can I still be connected to Chuksi Kedigwe or Oziomeme for their commentary?
Good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I've been trying to speak to you a while now. But
sorry, we're having communication problems.
Okay, I'll start by thanking you, thanking our esteemed listeners and every other person. One thing is sure, just like you said, Nigerian government has perfected a means whereby they blame the victims and then they claim to be the victims. When this protest started, you discovered that every other place was very peaceful. The youth went about their this. I was part of the protest, like you already know. I participated in about 4 different protest grounds. It was very peaceful. And during this process, I discovered one thing. Every other person looked out for every other person as a brother. There's this comradeship that we maintained throughout those peaceful period of it. And the Nigerian government became chivalry because they sent people to monitor what was happening. They became chivalry because everybody, there was no need for this person is from this tribe, everybody maintained that decision, and it worried them. And that's why they started sending thugs to come and disrupt the protest, sending people. And when this thing happened, they were the first to start shouting, "Oh, this protest has been hijacked. This protest has been hijacked." Who hijacked it? The thugs they were sending. And you shouldn't forget one thing: Nigerian politicians are the best in using thugs. They use thugs to execute all manner of election violence. They've been doing it, ballot box snatching, using it to pay people to vote for them, electoral vote buy-ins, and they've been doing it all this while. And that's why it was very hard for them. Very, at their bend and call, those thugs can come and disrupt those peaceful protests. And then they were the one that went singing, "Oh, these protests have been hijacked. Who have been hijacked?" And those were these things have led to and when the person actually got hijacked, they were the people that sent those thugs that were burning things and every other person. Those that I'm not forgetting the fact that other people got angered by the killings. Those were the 2 things that triggered the destruction we saw. They were triggered by killings and then the thugs that the government sent that were attacking the peaceful protests, and those guys tried to fight back. Those were the 2 things that triggered the whole thing. So the government cannot come today and be profligating on evils they created. We all know how this evil got created. Thank God that to some extent it consumed most of these things and he exposed the criminality in most of them. That since June, that most of them got the palliative, they refused to share it. Rather, they housed it in the warehouse, looking for election time to use it to buy more votes. This protest actually expand. That's why most of them are not happy. That's why people like Wike can wake up and tell you that it's IPOB that killed 6 soldiers and 4 policemen. We all know what happened. Everybody rose up in unison to fight for this injustice, and at the end of the day, is labeling it an IPOB act. This act, and I'm sorry that our people are taking it easy. I may not be a fan of IPOB. They have done a lot of things to me, but what I know is I will always fight for justice, no matter who is affected. What Wike is doing is ethnic profiling and hate policing. Policing and ethnic filing. Our people must rise up and condemn that stupidity, because everybody, there's no state that people have police station wearing touched. There's no state that policemen wearing killed. And therefore, him to now wake up and say, these people that did it is stupidness. And I wonder why our people are keeping quiet about it. Maybe because of what our people have done them in the past. But this is the time to want to shoot our sword and go against the person who is trying to give us a bad name. Because what he's trying, Wike is trying to do is to classify Ndibo, because that's the implication of it. The perception is bigger than realities in most times. If you allow this, Ndibo will be classified as terrorists. Ndibo will classify those who killed those 6 policemen, 6 soldiers and 4, because he keeps saying it. He's not even saying alleged. He's not even saying security forces allegedly killed. He's saying security forces killed by IPOB. We must fight these things, because it's trying to give us a bad name. And they say when one finger takes all, it rubs everybody. What Wike is doing must be condemned by everybody, and that's why I would have thought that by now our press release would have been about condemning it, because we can't allow those things to happen. People who are dying are human beings. He has no reason to even wake up and sign an executive this thing. He didn't even make any investigation of who really carried the act. Everybody were involved in that act. So for him to say IPOB it's condemnable. There may have been one. I'm not holding brief for IPOB. There have been 1 or 2 IPOB members that were involved, right? But you go after those people personally, not the group, because there are other people who weren't involved in this act, and then you are generalizing. It's appalling that Wike is a lawyer, an MBA member, and it's appalling there for somebody who is a lawyer, an MBA member, to be saying that kind of something. And unfortunately, he has a judge as a wife. This is where these things get more ridiculous. Everybody cannot do something. You are pinpointing it on one people, and then you are not using words like Ndibo. We're allowing Ndibo to stay in this state. And then the commissioner of police in the state comes and asking everybody who is an IPOB member to relocate, or else will be treated as a terrorist. Why should our people be going on that side?
Isn't it?
You said?
And this is a man who is Igbo himself, saying that he's allowing you.
Yeah, because that's what he must have been made to say. Because this is real. If he doesn't say it, they will sack him tomorrow. He's playing according to the thing they've generated for him. And this one must tackle it from the issue. I'm not even blaming him, because he's doing his work. He's doing what his Sokoto Caliphate people have told him to do. But Wike, who instigated everything, should be the one who should caution right now. They are not holding brief for the commissioner, because he should use his intellect to know that in this state you should investigate. Nobody has investigated who killed everybody. And this is happening in all states. Why should one of Rivers be different? Why should our people be the scapegoat of everything that happened in Nigeria? That's where I keep blaming the Nigerian system, because the Nigerian system is not suited for an Igbo man, it's not suited for a Biafrans, because every other person can do it and get away with it. We saw thugs from northern people, northern ISIS, killing people, stabbing people there. Nobody has arrested any of them. But IPOB, our people who has not even been proven to have or got on camera doing anything, they've killed them. As the last time I read the report, I've heard that about 23 people has been killed, the so-called IPOB members. And the thing get worse, where people like Wike is telling his local government chairman to go and fish out anybody that says it's an IPOB. How do you differentiate IPOB people? Because they don't have any card, they don't hold cards. Because automatically anybody who's an indigenous Biafran becomes IPOB. So this is a very, very, and I'm very surprised that people like Ohaneze, Ndibo has kept quiet. The Igbo governors have kept quiet. Most Ikenga group, whatever, they've all kept quiet. And this evil is happening. We mustn't allow, and it starts with us. As much as I condemn some of these things, that IPOB people have done in the past. But this time around, we must all collectively fight for these justice. We must not allow people to pick one after the other, because after picking them, they will come for you. Our people must understand the way these things work. They will first of all come for one and try to give him a bad name. If you don't not speak out for that one, oh, they will say, oh, nobody spoke for them. They will not come for the second person. If nobody speaks, oh, they're abandoned by their people, and then they will to go round. That's what's very important that we want them. That's very important that we call NBA to be aware of what one of their members is doing, because he has executive power right now. The end of this is at the end of the day, let him not deny, because we saw Buhari and co denying, oh, I didn't order the police, I ordered the police, oh, it was the governor that invited, oh, we didn't shoot at the armed protest, we were there, but we didn't shoot. Oh, we shot, but it was blank bullet. We don't want this to happen at the end of the day. After kidnapping, we now start dragging, start bringing, confuse the issue strategy. Because anybody that's killed our people must not be allowed to go free when the time comes. They must all pay. We've paid enough blood. The Igbos and the Biafrans have paid enough blood or whatever. We must not continue to allow it.
If I might add there to Sekerigo, it baffles me how our people have watched death on us as a people and not rise up to defend it and attack whichever way they can these issues, which where our political leaders have kind of shrek their responsibility to defend our people, and they become part of those people killing us, our political leaders. I just don't understand why our people have been so quiet. It has cost us so many lives, because the death so is an IPOB member. You just go get soldiers and kill them because they are marching on the street. You may not, even if you don't like IPOB, what have they done wrong to you? It doesn't mean that their rights are not there. Is that why we should just kill them en masse?
Even if they've done something, the constitutional this you have to do is to arrest them and charge them for whatever crime they've committed, not to shoot them, not to kill them. That's not policing. That's hate and ethnic profiling. And we must all rise up to condemn it in its totality.
And it seems to me that those who are keeping quiet on this and acting like they didn't see it don't know that they are keeping the evil day for their children. Because these all things will lead to you, Fulani, running us out of that land. As they bring in terrorists, hiding them in forests, killing, raping, destroying farmlands, shooting our people there, and nobody does nothing. They are creating the ground for them to take over. And if they are not careful, if maybe in the next 50 years, I won't be here, but they will take over. Because the younger children now may not even know what happened to them. Because their fathers were quiet. They hid in their rooms and their distance, and then they couldn't do anything, not even to speak.
See, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because our quietness is emboldening them. Our quietness is giving them morale. Our quietness is encouraging them to murder us, because they know nothing will happen. Nobody will speak, and those who speak can only speak for one day, and they close their mouth shut because they're not having the support of others. This is why they're taking us one after the other, and it has to stop.
Honestly, thank you so much for that input. Regarding River State, before I call Mazejo Fortune, I wanted to speak on it. I want to kind of read certain things that are events of what's going on in these River States, which we don't see people like Nike speak over. A man who stands and denies his ethnicity. What type of human being is that? You deny your ethnicity.
Let me remind us something. Let me remind us something I've been saying recently. He keeps saying that he just got an intelligent report that Curtis, claiming to be IPOB, have done this, have done that. That's exactly what is flying in the newspapers now. I was reminding our people are not really Curtis. They are self-determination agitators and not Curtis. So you must stop using those words. Sir?
He's giving them a label, That's
exactly. That's what it's right now.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. I just wanted us to remind us that.
Thank you for that issue that you raised here. And let me share things about what's going on in Rivers State, which we don't hear Wike condemn. There was shooting actually in Oyibo, Obibo area of River State. Many were killed. Unknown gunmen attacked residents in Obibo. And this happened in Thursday, I think Thursday, October 22nd, this month. Residents of Oyibo area of River State, they took to social media to raise an alarm that they were under attack by unknown gunmen. You see, thank God for the social media. That's why the politicians are fighting social media, so people don't know what's going on. Thank God for that. And then it doesn't mean that everything in social media is right, definitely, but a lot that is good is brought out. What happens is that bring the good and bad, then people will compare. Pretty soon the truth will come out. It's better than having just a media station that is singing government tune and people are dying and they cover up the whole thing. Nobody knows. So now they brought it down social media because the newspapers, official newspapers that are there, or the major may not want to publicize this. Either they are bribed or they are scared or something else, So it's a series of photos or video indicates that some people were killed on Thursday night, October 22nd, 2020 in Oyibo, a town which is about 30 kilometers from Paraco. Although the people responsible for the attacks is not yet known at the time of filing this report, but some residents believe it was carried out by Fulani headsmen, while others claim it was the Nigerian army. And it is actually on record. You can go to the internet and check it out yourself. If you write Oyibo shooting Thursday, October 22nd, 2020, by Tobias Sylvester, you will see that there. You see the videos of people being attacked. Now, there's another incident. Suspected herdsmen kidnap, kill Rivers PDP Guba aspirant. This is March 2020. This is this year that it happened. It says armed herdsmen have kidnapped and murdered a 2019 governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, Mr. Suala West. It was learned that West, who hails from Abonima, Akuku, Toru local government area of the state, was abducted at his poultry farm at Alo behind OPM in Porakot in March 12th, but was reportedly found dead on Wednesday evening. Further findings and pictorial evidence showed that West was brutally killed by the armed herdsmen. These are Fulani herdsmen who they just kill and dump the body there. Herdsmen, days before his corpse was discovered at a bush along Eleka pipeline, Porakot. Why didn't Mwike send the police to these people to find them? He will not speak up against these people. But when the people fight back now and kill some, he will jump up and begin to do that. You can't take the law into your hands. Why is one group taking the law into your hands and the other one cannot defend themselves? Or why must the policeman have a right to kill, or the military have a right to kill because they're in uniform, a citizen? Why? What type of? They don't have the right to do it. They don't have the right to do it because they gave you the gun to protect the person you're killing. And we have seen this as a tradition in Nigeria. That's how Igbo people went under pogrom and so on. It was the military that first started to slaughter them and then invited the citizens to join in 1966. We've seen that happen always in a jungle that they call a country. Evil people everywhere. And then they come and tell you about one Nigeria, why we must be together, why, this, that, and that. And you see even Christians saying that. What is wrong with you? Why are you advising somebody to stay where he will die? Even if you're doing it inadvertently, it is wicked ultimately, because he will die out of it if he doesn't defend himself. The government is not there for defense. The government is there for attack. It has been repeatedly made evidently clear. So he says, further findings of pictorial evidence showed that the West was brutally killed by the armed herdsmen days before his corpse was discovered at a bush along Eleka pipeline, Port Harcourt. The decomposing remains of West were said to have a bullet wound and machete cuts. That is traditional way of Fulani will kill. They'll cut and then they shoot. People who will cut people's head off, put it on social media and to say. You don't hear the government rise up and start to condemn and send police there to arrest the people. When we say Islamization, some of you wonder why. You think, we don't use that word. That's your problem, because you don't want to use that word. That's why you're still suffering. You don't want to face the reality of what is facing you. We have to face reality, and it's not just us. Even people like Danjuma and Obasanjo, former head said, Danjuma was former chief of army staff. He has said it already boldly. It's circulating on social media as well. And there was the other one that is antisocial, whatever the opposite one should be. It's circulating everywhere. So, you can't just say, well, these are Biafrans saying. The evidence is there. The problem with some people is that they refuse to face reality. They refuse to face the evidence. In the face of evidence, they just deny. And that is where you see evil grow. Because people deny the truth. Evil will grow in that society. More people will die because you didn't start in time to call out the evil. You used to resist it. And the Bible says, resist the devil and he'll flee from you. The devil doesn't only come from when you have possession in forms of somebody shaking and shouting. There are people who are very wicked and evil. They are well comported, but they are possessed people. And they are manifesting devilish behavior, as you can see in the government too. Sin is not only when you sleep with a woman who's not your wife, or you lie. Sin is also the ones that are committed by the government, exploitation and oppression. It is sin, and it's despicable, and it's detestable before God. And you who is a Christian must do something about it. That's what shows that you're a Christian. I'm telling you. Christians are not people who keep quiet in the face of death and so on and so forth. No. We may die in certain times, trusting God and so on, but not to keep quiet as evil is going on. The Bible enjoins us to do something and save those who are going to die. So far, even this demonstration and what's coming up, I believe God is working. And I love those who are marching and praying. You have to pray, destroy all those forces on the air and all the rest of them. But you have to march. You have to protest. You have to do something to ensure that you resist this evil of Islamization that is coming all over the Christians in that land. It is very wrong. The family of the deceased, who until his death was a popular lawyer and promoter of small business in Port Harcourt, was thrown into confusion and mourning. This is happening in Port Harcourt. Nobody saw Wike with the police to do anything about it. Herdsmen attack Rivers community, abduct woman. This was published in June 4, 2018. And Wike was there. It said a group of men supposed to be herdsmen. This is Fulani people. Has abducted a farmer identified as Edith Lawrence and inflicted injury on several persons, including another farmer, Blessing Chimele. The incident happened on Thursday in Ihuoba community in the Hoada East local government area of Rivers State. A source from the area told Southern City News on Sunday that the herdsmen led their cattle into the victim's farm, adding that when the women raised the alarm, one of them was kidnapped while others were injured. It was gathered that the herdsmen attacked some inhabitants of the community with daggers, bow, and arrow before they made away with Blessing, whose whereabouts remained unknown. The herdsmen allowed their cows to roam into people's farms, and when the women who were working in their farms saw what was happening, they began to shout and call people to help them. The herdsmen attacked some of the people that came to the place. Community people were attacked with daggers, bows, and arrows. Many were injured. One of the farmers, Blessing Chimele, was injured. Also, one woman, Edith Lawrence, was kidnapped by the herdsmen. As we speak, there is no news about the woman's whereabouts. She has not been released. The source, who simply identified himself as James explained that some of the inhabitants of the community, mostly women, later embarked on a peaceful protest along the east-west road axis of Ahoada East, calling for the release of Blessing. He said the women were angry as a result of the destruction of their farms by herdsmen who fed their cattle with the crops in their farmland. You see what is going on? Pretext to conquer, pretext for conquest is that violation and transgression of people's hallowed lands. The cherished land and resources. Another community member said some women were rushed to the hospital after the attack. The women, have gone to some of our leaders, telling them that the herdsmen were feeding their cattle with crops from their farms. These herdsmen attacked the community people with arrows and dagger. Now we have yet to get to the number of people that were attacked because some people ran into the bush. We are still searching. One Dorothy Ifanye, a resident of the area, said the herdsmen also attacked neighboring villages, adding that many women were affected. They broke my pot and maize I bought for 16,000 naira were destroyed. So this is happening in Rivers State. We Kenyans on Wike did not rise up to send the police there because they are Fulani. Two laws for different people. Fulani is sacred, no matter how many people they kill. They can carry AK-47 and kill anybody anyhow. As soon as you respond, then we have the governors, people like Wike will rise up and tell you that you are not supposed to do that. That is send the police to kill and slaughter villages. You see this happening? You see why there's war, by the way. This is what causes war. For people who who refuse, who keep blaming the victims. You see, when you're a victim blamer, you become evil. God will hate you for you to blame a victim in this world. That's why this world is dark. It's because you are blaming victims. You're promoting darkness. You're promoting evil. If somebody is a victim, is a victim. Blame the person perpetrating the evil. That's what you do. That's what God requires of you. Not to blame a victim. And here again, this is Tide News. I think it's main newspaper in Porako. Herdsmen attack Rivers community, shoot Catholic priests in Taraba, May 29, 2018. Here, Fulani herdsmen attack Ihuaba community in Ibu, Upata Kingdom, Ohoada East Local Government Area of Rivers State, abducting one Edith Lawrence. Oh, this is the same story, but you hear reported in Tide. Yet, Wike did not do anything about it. And here it says Fulani herdsmen killed 12 in Rivers due to missing cows. See that? They're using those cows as pretext to kill. This is 2016. A burial in Rivers turned bloody after herdsmen invaded it. The herdsmen attacked due to the disappearance of their cows. They use an excuse to kill. That's on takeover. That's all they do. And then they're in the army and the police, so they bring their people, and they're in the command positions there. So they bring their people there to finish the slaughter up. You see genocide going on. That is why Nigerian police has been ranked for the past few years as the worst ever in the world, ever. They break records in evil. That's what Nigeria breaks. That's why it's the poverty capital of the world, terrorism capital of the world. That is the type of record Nigeria breaks. Because of Islamic northern oligarchs who want to impose Islam upon others by force, because that's what their religion tells them. That's the problem there. I don't see any Christian community there that cannot be rational. It's only when it crosses over to Muslim, irrationality will begin. We read about the former governor of Central Bank saying that the lopsided appointment should not be used, is not the main issue, it should not be priority of what is going on in Nigeria. Lopsided, but there is federal character enshrined in the constitution and quota system. And they are the ones who first complained about it. Because the British look for qualified people and it happened to be more of Igbo people who passed the test and were put in position. No, this is Igbo marginal, Igbo this, Igbo domination, Igbo this, that. And within a space of 6 years, from independence in 1960, Igbo people were thrown out of Nigerian government. Till today. And they have taken over. Okay, practice the federal character you said about now. No, he will not do it. He's just busy and defending it. These are the type of people you want to be in one country with, or you think you are in one country with. Really? It's a problem. You cannot function this way. It's nobody in his right senses wants to actually admit this type of value system. And these are people you claim to be educated. Yeah, former CBN governor, since educated, becomes a jihadist again. It must be jihad. It must be the Fulani. It must be the North, and so on and so forth. And then they will distract and tell you this is the Igbo, so you can hate the Igbo because he has property. So hate him. He's the one who is causing the problem. It is him. They will use your jealousy against you, and this is what is used against Nigeria. And they have been doing that. That's why Nigeria is the way it is today. They brought you to this spot of hunger and destroy everything, no employment, nothing. That's what jealousy does in your heart when you're jealous of somebody. It doesn't help. When people have qualifications, whether they have doctorate, masters, this, then, or they are qualified for everything, that's a good thing. That is something that's a very good thing. Because they have knowledge. If you need to put them in positions where they can now work to build society. That's why we're getting that knowledge. That's why people need to get to that. In your own community, there are people who are very well educated. If you can, but Nigeria is so bad that they cannot even function there any longer. They don't put qualified people. It's all about mediocrity. Get an idiot who didn't read anything or something. That's it. Like the president, God produces a first school living certificate, probably. They've asked him where is the certificate. He blames the army. It is the army. It is this, that. And then he's made the president. Can you believe that? And that is how you see. The chief judge of the country, his qualification, legal qualification, is as a Sharia judge, maybe Grand Cadi, something like that. In a secular government, this is what Fulani is bringing to you, and that's not going to work. So it's time to face up with it. Everybody. And that means start doing something. So, when you think about something, look, God will give you an idea which you didn't know that was there, but you have to be bothered about it in the first place for you to think. If not, you just relax and go until things get worse and erode and completely. It's like nothing else works. So you see, a burial in Rivers State turned bloody after herdsmen invaded it. A burial was going on. The herdsmen invaded the Fulani herdsmen. The herdsmen attacked due to the disappearance of their cow. The pastor was among the dead. Ohali Elu town in Rivers State was left in disarray following an attack perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen on the community, which left a pastor and 11 others dead. It was reported that the herdsmen invaded the community in Oba, Ebema, Ndoni local government areas on Wednesday, March 30th. After a burial ceremony, Vanguard reports that the attack was first suspected to be the work of cultists, but investigation revealed that it was carried out by herdsmen following the disappearance of their cows. Now I'll read one more excerpt of this, what is going on here. And this is in February 2020, so it's this year. This is the Guardian newspapers. It says, living under siege of herdsmen in South, the area they want to call South, Nigeria, creating a geographical point that doesn't exist in the world, simply because of Igbo hatred. They create it. If Igbo and the South, obviously. But so I don't know, when they establish themselves to Igbo, they will create South. Okay, that is South now. The evil people. Now you see this tension is on the rise across the South region after herdsmen recently killed more than 14 persons in Awan, Agadama, and Ohoro communities of Uweru Kingdom in Ugeli North local government areas of Delta State. This latest attack that has triggered rhetoric genocidal claims by the Urobo Progressive Union and other stakeholders was one of the bloodiest incidents perpetrated by nomadic herdsmen in the South region, who have wreaked havoc in Delta, Rivers, Edo, Akwa Ibom states in recent times. This is 2020. Where are the governors? Where are the police to arrest these people and prosecute them? Where is the army? No. It is innocent Biafran complaining about the oppression that is upon them. That is when you see these people want to show off, to impress their Fulani masters in this thing. And this type of thing will disgrace you, because all of you that are governors, like we said, these issues are being recorded. They will be against you. You don't do something and expect somebody else to be blamed for it. It does not happen. You take responsibility for your actions. It's as simple as that. You can't, after knowing the truth, now pretend you don't. That's completely nonsense. So to send the police to go and start slaughtering villagers, claiming that they're hyper, but now you change and call them cultists. It shows how you haven't thought through what you're doing. You need to think it through, because even the police, the demonstration, the police died in so many other places in Nigeria. They didn't send the police there to go and slaughter villages and certain communities. No. So, what's motivating you, Mike, is what you yourself know. But I say that will put you to disgrace. You have done certain things that are very good, honestly. We watch how you went to Edo State and stood against rigging by the APC and so on and so on. You have spoken, you have worked, you've developed Rivers State, you've done that, recognize that. But don't do this so that it doesn't kind of spoil every good thing you've done. You need to stand on what is right, because, it will be to you. If you do what is wrong, it sticks with you. I would like Fortune to please speak on this. Why is Wike still denying that now he's Igbo? This idea of denial of identity is terrible. Why do we have our people in Rivers State, denying their identity? Some of them. Now, some Ikwere are coming out to speak up that they're Igbo. Fortune, thank you very much.
Thank you again, my brother Odimoralo. Thank you so much for today's program. You see, my mouth, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Ochinawata lives by the 11th commandment. The 11th commandment says, thou shalt not speak ill of it or do harm to no Biafran. So as far as I'm concerned, I will live by that creed and that commandment. The 11th commandment, Biafrans should learn to caution and not to criticize. Biafrans should learn to advise. Wike I am not surprised. The reason why I'm very, very, very guarded in my utterances is because I know our people. Our people has gone through a lot in this life. We have gone through so much throughout the years and throughout the centuries and throughout God's given time. We have gone through a lot as a people. If a bidoro if a bidoro today, if this thing did not just start. Been a while since time immemorial, since our people have been subjected and completely deprived of the total essence of humanity. Our people have been castrated, have been gone completely. And that is why I feel so bad. And that is why I feel so sad. And that is why I'm so full of remorse. When I see the condition of our people, I know that these are people, good people, honest people, genuine people, people who believe in doing right, who believe that man kendo, beauty of life. It's not too far when we run away from blood. Blood, the mother. But look at where we are today. Look at who we are now. Not only from biblical time that we have been actually abused and used and thrown away. Our own people have decided that, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this. Psychologists will call it survival instinct. So I feel so sad for them. I feel bad for them. I really sympathize with them. I really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, feel so bad for Nike and the rest of them that believes that taking their own brother's property in the abandoned property saga will be a solution for them to be welcomed into the Nigerian folk. That castigating their own brothers and sisters and calling themselves that they are not Igbo will win them to the caliphate. Hey, Ewo. Hi. It's not like that. So I feel bad for my people. I feel bad for Newsom Wike because we've been looking at him and believing that this is the man, a strong man, a Biafran core that understands what it is. When we make comments about Biafra, we are very, 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 very guarded in our utterances. Because we know Ndibonde. And Wike himself has actually won the praise of so many of our people because we believe that he knew what time it is. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know no mysticism. Ndufulani Nefegia one. Maybe they gave him the milk of the cattle. I don't know. But as far as he's a Biafran, my mouth will not speak ill of him. Because I live and die with that 11th commandment. Thou shalt not speak ill of no Biafran, or do ill of no Biafran, or see death of no Biafran. If people are there, I can say, read, use your tongue and count your teeth. And when no time, you can say, enough is enough. Time, Lugo, when the Biafrans, from north to south, east and west, See, enough is enough. This is the 21st century. We are no longer fighting radical Arabism. We are no longer fighting British colonialism. We are no longer fighting American imperialism. We are no longer fighting all these battles that held our people back for centuries. It's not Nebuchadnezzar that is expelling the Igbos again, or the Biafrans. It is the ragtag Fulani herdsmen and the caliphate that believe that they are smarter than Africans. Our people were there, sitting down, watching, when our kings and folks were being sold into slavery. That was not too long ago. Jaja of Opobo, who in his own infinite wisdom resisted up until his death. We fought the British government for 32 years. Biafrans did. If you don't know, you go on and read Ekumeku. The British government did not want to call it a war. They call it an uprising. Ekumeku movement. It is not a movement when people are dying. It is not a movement when people are shooting at each other. It is not a movement when people are fighting for survival. It is not a movement. It is called war. That is the same thing that goes with so-called Nigerian Biafran war. Instead of the rightful name, Third World War. Because a lot of us are living in that mindset of British colonial mentality. And when we say it, it's like you are trying to insult somebody. What are you insult? As I speak now, I plead to Biafrans all over. Suit your sword. Calm down. Caution, but do not criticize. Wike is our brother. Wike is a Biafran. History will tell him that. If Wike doesn't recognize it today, because maybe the Fulani is watching, maybe his son will recognize and tell Fulani to go to hell. Nobody knows. Only time shall tell. But our people have gone. Our people have really endured. We have endured. Like I said earlier, and I'm saying it again, this is a new moment, a new season, a new period in time when all Biafrans are over in every country of the world. Name that country, a Biafran is there. So Chukwu Okuka Abiyama, his infinite wisdom, dispersed us this way because he knows there will be a time, there will be a moment, there will be a period in history when the children of Biafra will rise up to defend the land. There's no way Biafrans will allow the Fulani or even our brothers and sisters who believe the only way they can fight this war or survival is to collude and sell their brother and kill their brother and believe that is the way out. That is an old theory. And Radio Biafra International is here. And the Chinawata is trying to remind us and remind them that 21st century is not 18th century. It's not the time we sold or we participated or we aided or we abetted the selling of our brothers and sisters into slavery. We cannot do that. If you are going to worship somebody because you have believed you can worship somebody, look at yourself and look at that Fulani and look at those caliphate. Look at them. Just look at them. And you tell me that you are going to subject yourself to a Fulani herdsman. Now, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm only going to pray to God Almighty to help you. I'm only going to pray for the second coming of Jesus because you need deliverance. I'm only going to participate in the coming of Biafra so that you can be liberated. Your problem is enormous. And only all these three factors will set you free. We said it before and we're saying it again. It matters. It matters only when people are listening. It matters when you have taken the truth and you've done something with it. If somebody if somebody is telling you the truth and you don't even hear it, it doesn't matter. But Biafrans, we are bent. And thank goodness and thank the Lord Almighty for giving us Radio Biafra International and giving us the means of communicating with our people and letting our people to rethink and retrace their steps. Everybody, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect, and Wike is definitely not perfect. All of us we have seen, as the good book said, all have seen that have come short of the glory of God. The problem, if you have done wrong, their conscience will let you know. If your conscience doesn't tell you, let your people tell you. And if your people tell you and you don't take it, we find out about sin of omission. Sin, just if you commit. Sin is when you know something and you know that this is wrong and you just don't say anything about it and you shut up and you walk away. That is sinful. You're supposed to do something to right the wrong that have been done. Whether you are the one that perpetrated it or somebody, your next door neighbor. Thank you again, Odi. Thank you, my brother, Odi. And I know that God is with us, and with God in front and behind us and all our side, I think eventually our people will get it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joe Fortuna. Like I said, it's always good to hear from you. I know that our listeners cherish hearing your voice, your advice, and your analysis of these issues that are bugging our people. There's a challenge to our very existence as a people. I would like to call on Oziomeme to give us his own remarks. We'll take this closing remarks because we have probably about 20 minutes left in the broadcast to speak on these issues we have. I've tried to be connected to her for a while. I couldn't get it. Thank you. I'm able to do so now. Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Lovers of freedom, lovers of justice, and lovers of equity. I thank you all, and I thank the listeners for tuning in. I thank all the panelists for all the wonderful job they're doing. And Odemwal, I thank you for having a wonderful program today, informing our people. And our super engineer, Mazian Emene, thank you for orchestrating the whole program. I am so saddened about what is going on. And so because of the death of our young people, not because they have lived out their life, they have finished their course, and they passed away, but because people decide they're not supposed to live and just line them up and shoot them. And the people who are supposed to know better are keeping quiet. They are keeping quiet. I mean, I'm not happy that the killing happened at Lekki, but it exposed what has been going on in Biafra land for the past decade. The Fulanis and the armies and the soldiers and everybody and the police have been having it's like they're in a park in Igbo land. feasting on the people, fleecing them, and putting them in the washing machine, washing them, wringing them out, and just hanging them out to dry. All the atrocities they've committed. And now, to top it off, for a governor, Governor Wike, oh my God, my heart is so heavy. For you to line up 23 people, children, people's sisters, brothers, husbands, line them up. You are the judge, you are the jury, and you didn't take them to trial. You didn't give them chance to explain. What kind of justice is that? And you know better. You know better. I hope you still have a conscience, really. These are lives, you can never make one of them. And you just kill them just like that. What does being an indigenous people of Biafra have to do with the hoodlums that are causing a mayhem in the country? And even if they did you follow the rule of the law to arrest, investigate, before you cock your gun and shoot? You may have used the army, but you are the ultimate responsibility because you call the game, you call the play. I am really very disappointed, more than disappointed, because I thought you knew better. But I guess the temptation comes and people fall out. When have you succumbed to the lowest level of people in Nigeria? We held you at the highest esteem, and now you have fallen to the bottom. You have to make amends, because these families and this blood you spilled will follow your generation. I don't know how many generations, but it's in the Bible. You can't kill people and get away with it. For what reason? They are human beings. You didn't create any of them, and you cannot create any of them. If you had given them chance to explain, then give an appropriate punishment, which is not death. Oh, Jesus, help us. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of help. And in that sense, you're telling us you're not Biafran, but your DNA says you're Biafran. I'm sorry. Your DNA says you're Biafran. You can claim all you want. This blood that you spilled, innocent blood that you spilled, will follow you and your generation for years to come. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And the day of judgment is coming. People that spill innocent blood, Biafran blood, will pay for it. I'm sorry. Somehow, you pay for it. I'm encouraging all the people that are protesting to be careful, to look across your shoulder. Know that the person beside you is your brother and your sister. Look out for one another. And that was the spirit we saw when the young people were protesting. And all of a sudden, the politicians, the old men who refused to leave the government because they know that's where they reap, that's where they can line their pocket and nobody will question. I'm praying that time comes when people will have a limited time in the office. It doesn't matter what position. If you served as a senator and you have 2 terms, you're out from the political realm. Go and find you something to do to help your family or to raise your family. You guys sit there from one position to another position to another position, and you think that is your right. and then forget the people that put you there. I'm pleading with all our young people. We still have to move forward. We still have to move forward, one step in front of the other, because Biafra is ordained to come. We cannot be going through this every generation. We cannot. We can't afford it. It's too much. It's very expensive. It's very priceless. You have no price tag on it. So this has come to be a do or die, position we're in. When you're pushed to the wall and you can't go anywhere, you just fight back. Unfortunately, we're fighting the Fulanis, we're fighting the police, you're fighting the army, and now here come Governor Wike and his group. Only God has the answer, and I know that he's with us. So we just have to continue to pray, continue to be vigilant, continue to do what we need to do to set our people free. And that includes all of us, everybody, anywhere in the world, in the universe, and you're a Biafran. You need to put your 10 cents worth in it. No more sitting on the fence. Let us all fight together and get our place free from all the claws that are hanging onto us. The claws, the bleeding is too much. And it will take an army of Biafrans, of brave Biafrans. We fought before, but now the fight is different. The fight is different. So let us all keep fighting and let us all keep marching on, knowing that God is with us, we win. I thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful weekend and remain blessed. Thank you, my fellow panelists. You guys have done an awesome job today. And thank you, the great anchor, Ode Moral, and our super engineer, and all the leaders of the BRM. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sister, wonderful sister Ojimeme. It is always refreshing to hear from you, to encourage our people in this struggle, for them to all come out and join hands, and not just hands, join hands and feet, and hands and legs in this thing, join your mind, join your heart. Because when everybody is working, you saw the NSAS movement, how it worked, because everybody joined. That's how you have the impact. We need the numbers. So wherever you are, do something about Biafra. Do something about freedom for Christians in Nigeria as well, because the Christians in Nigeria need to be free. Those Christians should now walk hand in hand with Biafrans. Those who want to be free from Fulani Caliphate. You can do so. Begin to work now, not with your politicians who, they are sold out, they are bribed, so they don't care about you. The problem is that you still think that they do care about you. That is the problem. It is your mindset. So when you understand that these people are there to finish you up too, not just that they're your representatives, political representatives, you begin to work with others who actually care about you, who are the Biafrans. The middle belt, work with Biafrans, those who in the so-called South, but our neighbors, which is actually Southeast, a large part of it is, if you get Nigeria map, you divide it into half, north and south, so you have north and western side, and into another half, so you have north and south, and divide north and so you have west and east. You will understand where the southeast is. It's as simple as that. So don't go by these labels they give and then you run with it. You will miss it out. I need Chukwusi Kedigwe to give us his closing remarks in the next couple of minutes.
Okay.
Short. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mazodi. Thank you, Biafrans. These few days has been a challenging week for most of us. He has exposed a lot of things. He has given us He has exposed a lot of things, has given us the fact of what we are into, how the government doesn't really care about us, and how our leaders do not really care about us. But our people say that anybody who's rejected must not reject himself. So it has come to that we must not reject ourselves. We must fight shoulder to shoulder. Must be our brother's keeper. And this is the time that duty call for us to defend ourselves. The greatest enemy of our people is that we allow the enemy to take us apart. They cook up one lies against our brother and we attack our brother for rather than defend our brother. We form it as a duty on VRM and RBI that we must always defend our people no matter what happens. The safety of our people matters a lot for us. We do not allow people to be taken apart no matter the atrocity they have committed at us. When it's time to defend them, we defend them. Especially when they've not done anything. You can't separate our people, call them cultists without any atom of evidence, without anything. You call them, you give them a bad name so that we hate them, so that it empowers you to start killing them. For example, Wiki has been seeing the Fulani herdsmen kill a lot of people. Thank God you read a lot of the killings. He has never for one day tagged them terrorists. He has never for one day signed an executive order. He has never for one day say fish them out. But now he's telling people to go and fish our people out. For what? He's a lawyer. You should know that there's no card-carrying member of IPOB. The indigenous people are IPOB by nature. And then you are telling people to go and fish them out. They'll go and fish anybody out. Anybody that have a problem with. This is an automatic ethnic 1966 killing of our people. This is how it started. You go and fish anybody that you have a problem with and you tag him an IPOB or whatever, you give him bad name, and then the army without anything start killing them. And then the stupid CP start telling our people to go away from the state or they'll be treated as terrorists. And then they catch the stupid government catch the terrorists and then they set them free. But because of where we come from, our people must be treated as terrorists. And then most of us keep quiet and say we should take it easy. What kind of easy are we taking it? I'm not a candidate of easy taking when duty calls. When duty calls, we must speak out and speak out very well. We must call a spade by its rightful name. We must call those, we must criticize those who have given power they do not possess to themselves and then executing orders that do not really work well for people. The life we kill, you can never replace it. Even if they burn police station can be built. And then you have no reason to even murder people who are armless for no reason. And then we are saying people shouldn't take laws into their hands. And then you are giving your government, giving the army this to take laws into their hands, execute people. What is the law court for in the first place? Is the law court not to judge people when they are accused? No, you must sign an executive because you want to kill the poor people, and then you are using words like, oh, because you allow the poor people to come to this state. It's a very unfortunate statement that our people must rise up, condemn it totally. No matter problem I have with people, but when this kind of things start, I do not tolerate it, and I do not like it at all, and I must speak out against it. I must call those who are involved by their rightful name. In fact, sometimes I begin to ask, are we really, even in the Biafran fight that we are trying to bring a lot of people, are we even sure that these people are ready to go? Are they? Because it takes somebody who knows that is a slave for you to free that person from slavery. It's not these people are so comfortable with the Nigerian system that they are not ready for freedom. Because what they're doing is just like, oh, we love the Nigerian system, I want to remain with the Nigerian system. Must live above this, must do the right things. For doing the right thing, have a lot of, it's come with a lot of morality. We've paid the dues. Our blood has been spilled enough. Our people have been murdered enough for the unity of this stupid country. So there is nothing anybody can say about it right now that will make us keep quiet. I will discover when they were killing Biafrans, most of us kept quiet. The Nigerians were quiet then, but now they has turned the other way. Most of them are now speaking out. The media is now agog with, oh, the army shot live bullet on people. But what happened when Biafrans were being killed in the past? Did none of them speak? Did they not know that live bullets were being shot on people? Did they not see corpses then? Did they not know that army will kill our people then and put them inside truck and move away with it? They don't know that our people were being buried in mass grave in army cemetery then. They don't know all those things. So what is new right now that the noise is just too much now? What is now too much that they are calling for judicial panel of inquiries and the rest? I commend the judicial panel of inquiry, but we must also insist that those who kill our people, similar this must be set up. And those who are culpable in the murder of our people must answer for it. It has started because I was praying the day will come like this, that Nigerians will also witness what we've been witnessing, so that we know how sweet it is. Because having our people, they all kept quiet, they all took everything the government said, they swallowed it. They saw it as the truth. No, but now things has changed. They are now beginning to investigate. But when it happened to us, they were comfortable with it. They called us names, they did this, they did all that. But we pray that this day will come, and thank God that this day has come. It shows that God really answers our prayer. And we are praying that this day come, and they are now talking, and they're now calling the government. They're now asking questions. Who gave the order? Even in our own, we're asking who gave the order. It fell on deaf ear. But now in unison, everybody asks who gave the order to shoot on armed Protestants. Exactly the same thing that happened to us right from 2015 till now. That nobody spoke, that nobody asked questions who gave the order. One thing is sure, be it the governors of those states in the east where our people were murdered, or the presidency, whoever, a day is coming when they will come to give an account who gave those orders, because most of them were captured on camera, especially the killing in National Primary School in Aba, the killing in May 30th in Paul was also captured. Most of the killings there, I was a witness to it. So they will come, they will definitely give they will definitely be there. Thank God people like one for James now are now answering for the crime they committed when they were in SARS, when they were the OC SARS of Okosu Station. A day will come when those who participated, whoever they are, they will give account. That day of reckoning is coming and is no longer far. Those who murdered Biafra must wake up to answer for the atrocity they've committed our people. Because at the end of the day, our people say, he that murders an innocent person must atone for such killings. That day is close, very close, just as the coming of Biafra is also close. Because this killing that happened recently, this Lekki has really exposed what we've been praying, because the world now sees Nigeria, now knows Nigeria as a country that murders its citizens. We are all awash to that about America send their troops to free just one American that was kidnapped by armed group from Niger and brought to Nigeria here. They sent their elite this to come and rescue that American. But here, Nigeria is not interested in rescuing her citizens. Right? They are rather interested in murdering their innocent citizens who haven't committed any crime. Day of reckoning is coming, and it's not far again. Thank you all for listening, and remain blessed.
Thank you so much, Chukwukadigwe. Thank you. We look forward to a day when there will be accountability, the day of reckoning, the day of justice for people who have died. And I hope this will now begin the unearthing of certain atrocities committed against various peoples of Nigeria, even as the government goes down, the government that's responsible for this. And we know that the future will be bright for those who love righteousness and uprightness, and that it shall be well with us. Biafrans, keep your spirit up. Keep fighting for justice, keep fighting for fairness and equity, keep fighting for democracy, keep fighting for accountability, keep fighting for transparency. These are qualities of good governance and peace anywhere in the world. We fight also for our rights, including the right of self-determination, because we decide what we want. as a people. Any peoples need to decide what they want. And I hope that the rest of Christians in Nigeria will be free from this oppression because of Islamic zealots. And I hope those who have been held under the Islamic scourge, also the Hausa people, will free themselves, but God will free them and free all those people who are under Emirates and so on and so forth. And all these value systems that are so negative are perpetrated and imposed upon them. We thank you very much, our listeners. And we thank all the panelists. We thank our anchor, our technocrat engineer, Leo Nyamina, who's just behind. Of course, we thank Chuksi Kedigwe, Geoffrey Chinawata, and Oziomeme for being in the panel today. We look forward to also broadcasting to you by next weekend. Until then, keep up the good fight and God bless you. Goodbye.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Okay, we are all welcome. This is J Rhymes. This song is all about the pains and suffering we Africa have been facing here in Africa. And if we musicians don't come out to the world and talk about this, I don't know who will. So listen. Our people they die, our children they cry, some waste away, but try to survive. They killing our youth and calling us fools. That's why they call them the king of the zoo. How can we live with so much pain? We must to fight to save our land. We need our freedom, the song of freedom. We need our freedom, the song of freedom. So what the world, the killing is much. The world leaders look away cause we are blind. So why can't we fight for right? It's time to make things alright. So why can't we fight for right? They try to put us down cause we are blind. How can we live with so much pain? We must to fight to save our land. We need our freedom, the song of freedom. We need our freedom. We must to fight to save our land. We need our freedom, the song of freedom. We need our freedom, the song of freedom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This J Rhymes. Now I'm chilling with Chasino. Umo Biafra. God bless you.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people, a different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna oppress us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home. I reminisce way back 1967. That toll and the blood couldn't kind of even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Sucker had the first taste of a hero's blood. About the Nazobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came a king. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break it. It's our freedom, but the world was against us. Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See, boy, shining on the world. Oh, yeah.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people, you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Master 2020. I think champion who back when on before you became with you. Because what is the same where Master Corona went off money from one. Someone they see about now. What can see that idea? I want to know before you became with you.